Oh, hello everybody. That transition was very fast. Hello everyone. Welcome. um it is thank you for being with us here on this the day of the loop day, the day of all loops, I don't know what we're calling it, but
All of that, yeah.
all of those things are the title. But yes, this the Q&A wrap up for It Came from the Loop. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Lucas Santana. I am here. I am the producer at Rule of Lore and one of the members of our writers' room. And next to me this way is John Boyle, another member of the writers' room. Lead writer at Rule of Lore. Welcome everybody. John and I are going to be here taking questions from chat and feeding them to the cast while they answer all of your questions and talk about all the behind the scenes stuff that happened. So, first of all, I will just get us started real fast by saying hello. Thank you to all of you for being here to do this little like wrap up behind the scenes kind of thing. It's really good to have you all back for one more go around.
One last hurrah.
Slap around the loop.
One last lap around the loop, exactly.
You guys keep using words that I personally object to. Words like last and final.
I don't like those words.
I rebuke those words.
Tell you what, I will start referring to it as just one of the laps around the loop. We don't know which one. It is technically true. We don't know which one it is. I just won't specify which one it is.
We're here for a lap around the loop.
Mm-hmm. Which one? We don't know.
We don't know. We don't talk about it. All right. Before we get started, just a few quick announcements, because we've got some weird stuff happening this week. And by weird, I mean fun, but different than usual. We have Ramblemancy, which I guess isn't different than usual. We still have that. That's always. But John, help me out. We're talking about scary stories, ghost stories, and those kinds of things. Our favorites of those. We're going to be talking about all that sort of stuff. It's going to be a spooky time. And of course, on Saturday, as some of you may have seen, instead of our usual monthly Borderlands stream, we're still having Bree come and hang out with us. Bree Dadan come and hang out with us and play some video games. We also got Jess at GoJG to come. We're going to go play the Blackout Club, and we're going to be doing a multi-stream event, so you'll be able to see everybody's perspective I played the tutorial of it to get in, and it is terrifying and amazing, and I love that game so much already.
I'm sure it will be full chaos.
Yeah, it will be, absolutely. I will say maybe a volume warning on that one, because there will be a lot of shrieking. And of course, next week, a week from today, we return with Infinite Horizon Season 2, which I'm very excited about. Our sci-fi supers actual play set in, powered by the Cypher system. It's coming back. I'm very excited. I can see Caitlin is like there are various times throughout these last several weeks where Caitlin's like, I just want to play Bina again.
I just want to be Bina again so bad. Let me be an alien.
So that'll be coming. So look for all of those announcements coming soon. More information, all that kind of stuff. I think that's everything for the moment. And
I have one last order of business.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Before we kick into tonight's episode, Caitlin, I would be remiss if I allowed your Rule of Lore birthday extravaganza to end on your birthday. And given that the cast of It Came from the Loop have not had a full chance to wish you a happy birthday, we have prepared a small surprise for you. And by prepared, I mean we talked about it once. So, without further ado, one last birthday hurrah for you. Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Woo! Happy birthday to you. Woo! Happy birthday, dear Caitlin. Happy birthday to you. Flawless, first try.
Beautiful, thank you.
Utter chaos. That's how we
excellent
do.
serenade.
Happy birthday, Caitlin.
Thanks, everybody.
A theoretically final birthday ambush. Weirdly, not planned by me this time. So
that was actually your Discord and me this time.
All right.
You can share the blame between the two Johns that are currently present, the one that's here and the one that's in chat.
Thanks, y'all.
All right. Well, without any further ado, I think we can jump right into this this Q&A. Should we start with a question first, or do you guys have anything like pressing that you want to just get off your chest right now?
We got time too. We can always circle back.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think we'll go ahead because there are some great questions that were asked in the Discord server. So I think we'll start with some of those.
Yeah.
So let's see. We've got a whole list of questions from Gemini Lightning, and I think we will start with Caitlin. What led you to this particular storyline and setting? Is there anything that happened that you didn't foresee?
We were talking about this earlier today, but I mean, we've talked about this a lot. But first of all, Kids on Bikes Saving the World is like one of my favorite media genres ever. We all know this at this point. If you were tuned into our the implementing that I guessed out on recently, where we talked about kids on bikes, there's just something about it. It's that nostalgia. I think we said the nostalgia for a childhood you never had. It's so good. It is so fun, and also just like being kids who are heroes. It's so fun, and I wanted to be able to run some people through that. And also, I had never played Tales from the Loop. I thought the setting was really cool and fun. And then things that I didn't expect was that this is what we talked about earlier today, was that I've never run a game for more than one session at a time. So like I was like, whoa, it like totally changes shape as you like move forward in it. There wasn't like I didn't come in with a lot of like hard expectations, but definitely like the shape of the story changed like as we move forward and as the players made decisions, which was really fun and really cool to see, because I've never gotten to like see a game change like that. So that was fun. I don't know if there's anything in particular. I'll probably think of some stuff later, but yeah. And the game, the type of story that we did was the sort of eldritch horror was actually Lucas's idea. So it was fun to kind of run with that. And I also am kind of fond of like incorporeal entity like storylines. Was very fun. So it was a good time. I think that was the whole question.
Yeah. And if anybody has anything that they wanna add into that at all, I know the question was specifically for Caitlin, but if anybody has other stuff they want to add in, go for it.
I'm still like, I still remember how shocked and like legitimately surprised I was when everything was started floating in the junkyard. Like that actually caught me off guard, and like I knew there's gonna be some weird stuff going on. That's just what the setting like comes with, but that didn't occur to me. So when it happened, I legitimately was like, "Oh fuck, what the fuck's going on?"
I think that was the moment for me too, where I was just like, "Oh yeah, this is gonna be good. It's gonna be real good." It was a lot of fun.
I remember, like, Caitlin, when you described that moment to Lucas and I was just like, ooh, I am covered in goosebumps. I'm not even a player. It's not even happened yet, but like, ooh.
I'm so glad. That was one of the things going into that where I was like, I know I don't have I'm not a scary person. I don't have a very like scary voice. Even being loud, I just sound ridiculous. Like if I'm trying to be, so I'm like, any scary scene like that, I'm gonna have to take like way down. Like it's gonna have to be like very calm explanation, because that's the only way I can do the scene. So I'm really happy that that was exciting. It was an exciting scene for everyone, despite the fact that I couldn't like yell about it. Oh, that's fun. I was excited. That was one of the first scenes. One of the first, I think, 2 or 3 scenes that I made was like, okay, this has to happen. How can we build the rest of this game around that scene?
Yeah. All right. Do we have another question? John, you want to take this next one?
Yeah, we actually have one in chat from Geek Outs, which I think is a kind of fun question. They said, question, which character or NPC is in politics in 2020? My vote is Tall Patty. She streams with Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez.
I love that so much.
100% it is my little sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Patty ends up being such an incredible voice for change from her generation. Like no questions asked. She's all about it.
I love that. I don't think I can come up with a better answer than that, to be honest.
Oh, and Patty definitely ended up being way taller than her sibling. Like, poor Beaker. Just doomed to shortness.
Forever small.
Yeah. I actually have a question which this is my own question, but actually Geek Out's reminded me about this in the chat, which is Geek Out's question is, did the single dads become friends? And the way I was going to phrase that was, did the dads ever have a play date? So
The kids, do Beaker and Ferris enable that?
I know that Beaker definitely does.
Yeah, I think that Ferris would, with like limits or to certain extent, so that it doesn't like increase the amount of adults that she has trying to supervise her at any given time. As long as it doesn't.
So what you're
like...
saying is that they don't want to end up getting together.
Like you can spend time with him, but you're not allowed to date him.
It's just about keeping a rein in on her dad and his shenanigans, I suppose.
I mean, somebody's got to look after. Somebody's got to look after him, right? You know.
Right. Yeah, somebody's got to take care of him. Who else is gonna do it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe my dad.
I can imagine like Ferris and Beaker like having a sit down, like we're talking to like Ferris talking to Beaker's dad, like, so what are your intentions with my dad?
I have actually done that conversation, that whole song and dance with my mom's boyfriend, so it is very one-to-one. Yes, they would have to get the grill down. Gotta make sure he's a good influence.
I mean, look at Beaker. Obviously, Beaker's obviously a good influence.
Well, see, that might like backfire. It might mean like doing more engaging family activities when that time could be otherwise spent doing something else. She's got an agenda. Who are we to hold her back?
Yeah, that's fair. My personal headcanon is, I'm just imagining Beaker and Ferris sitting down together and like saying, okay, so is your dad free on Wednesday? And like because he can't that day, he's got a work thing. But that's my personal headcanon.
I think that's perfect.
The dads are just like, I'll have my people talk to your people. The people are
the people are the kids.
I don't actually know what I'm doing that day, but I know that my children know exactly what's going on, so I'm still like, I'm planning.
I feel like that story like beat is a natural consequence of Tales from the Loop's core conceit that like the kids are the ones that are in charge of the action. Like,
yeah. Oh my god, that'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
Is that my turn for a question?
Yeah, I think we're just gonna alternate on this one. It's just because it's
right,
simpler that way.
This is one. I see that Geek Outs has a question in chat. So we can.
That's
I'll
not
ask.
A question.
Wait.
That's a statement.
It is a statement.
It is a
I'm going to return to my question. But what is one piece of information about your character or an NPC related to them that you want the world to know that didn't come up during the game?
Ooh.
Or only kind of came up, even if it was something that just like briefly came up, but you would like to share with the public.
Give us the lore.
I mean, I guess we hinted at it a bunch, but I think it was a lot more tied to Beaker than TJ. But TJ's parents, they played like D&D together a bunch, and TJ's trying to get Beaker to come play for a very long time, and I thought that was kind of adorable. But yeah, so his mom Robin is the like D&D nerd, like the really big one, and Maya just like recently got introduced to it because of Robin, and and TJ's kind of been brought up with D&D for most of his life, so yeah.
So cute.
Yeah. My kind of hidden thing is a little bit more tragic. It's actually kind of really tragic. So there was a lot of allusions to the fact that Beaker didn't really know how to be a kid and didn't spend a lot of time being a kid. Basically is the sole like caretaker of the home, not because their father is neglectful or anything, but because they were particularly close with their mother. And so when she passed away, they kind of took it upon themselves to sort of like take care of the family. And sort of put themselves in that position in the home. So like their entire family like completely depended on them for like everything. And part of the reason why Beaker was afraid to meet Robin and Maya was sort of explained, but there was another part of it, like their mother was gone and they didn't want to replace her.
Oh.
So
Heart, Aki.
Yeah, that didn't really come up. It was kind of it wasn't it was important, but it didn't really need to be like explicitly stated that was part of the motivation. But yeah, there's a slightly more tragic underpinning to all of that didn't end up really being necessary to the plot in order to still be kind of conveyed. So
yeah.
On a similar note, Ferris does have a mom. Her parents aren't technically divorced. They were never married. And her mom lives outside of Boulder City and is married and does have other children that Ferris isn't really in contact with often. And that didn't really come up a lot since Ferris just lives with her dad by choice. So, but it was something that I wanted for her lore just because from my own background and like my upbringing, I'm not like really used to the nuclear family situation. I have a lot of half siblings, like all half siblings, and a lot of them I didn't grow up with or know. So that's something that I wanted to just key into Ferris's experience as well.
Yeah.
For Zach, I had an entire NPC that we never got to, but there's. But not like in a bad way. There's just like a person that I came up with like kind of at the last second just to for another like location in Boulder City making like a tech and video store. There was going to be an NPC named Saris that was Andy's friend that worked there. And so because Andy was kind of a recluse, Zach would go and like pick up tech and other stuff from Saris at the store and deliver it to Andy, but didn't ever come up. So whatever, it's fine.
Favorite Andy lore is that the two of them are like, the two brothers are like, don't hang out a ton, but like desperately want to be close again, like, but are like trying to navigate that, like, oh, those
So
two.
If I can like extrapolate on that a little bit, that like Zach's whole family is like based on my family of being like very half white, very half Asian, like, and Andy is based on me and Zach is based on my little sister. And so when we were going to play it, it was, I was deciding between actually playing Andy or Zach. I didn't know which at first, but then ended up on playing Zach, which I think was a lot more fun.
I got to NPC Andy then, who was fun.
Yeah.
Ended up becoming one of my favorite NPCs to play, actually. Like, I was so glad that you went and ended up asking Andy for help, because I was like, oh, this is fun. I think I like to be an older sibling.
Wait, why?
What?
So
I don't get
weird.
it.
I don't understand.
They don't know anything about me.
what is being an older sibling? This is not something.
Oh yeah, the concept of being an older, shorter sibling.
Yeah.
Psh,
Older,
don't know
shorter
anything about
sibling, not a
Nah.
clue.
I mean, I don't know how it feels to be a short sibling, but
Caitlin, any NPC lore?
I only made 2 NPCs for this entire game, and I would like everyone to know that almost every NPC on the show who is named was made by my wonderful players, and they all ended up being just so much fun to play. Some of them had a little bit more like lore bits than others, but either way, it was so much fun to just kind of go nuts. I guess I made 1.5 NPCs. One of them was Dr. Hal Robinson, and the other one was that I half made Sylvie Martinez, which was Alex was like, we were talking about like, oh yeah, like who would your anchor be? And they said something like, I just like some like an, I think you said just like an older cool lesbian who like works in the record store or something. And I was like, okay, so her name is Sylvie Martinez. I just went through my like list of names and just found some, but yeah, she was probably my favorite one to play. There was like no really lore attached to her. Everything you know about Sylvie Martinez was made up and we came with on the spot in that scene. Like,
it's amazing because Sylvie Martinez is maybe one of my favorite NPCs.
Yeah. She's wonderful.
So
great.
Perfect woman.
I just knew she was gonna be a little bit like eclectic, and so I was like, and then we just ran from there. Let's see. Do I have? I'm pretty much you guys got that journal. Like you kind of got like all of the Hal Robinson scoop. I don't know if there was really anything that didn't show up. Other than, I guess you kind of knew the Arch project was like his deal, like the Arch one, that was like his project. He fucked up and got demoted, but they still wanted him on board because he still knew the most about it. And so that's why he was bitter. He just went along with it for like 5 years and then found a reason to get his spot back and then went about it in a really just bad way. Yeah.
Gosh, I can't imagine a cis white man ever doing anything like that.
What? That sounds like pure fiction.
Fake news.
Failing forwards?
What?
Pretty much. I don't know if there was any NPC lore that would have been dropped. Would be NPC lore made by I think my players. I don't know if there was anything that was that I kind of had that didn't get to come up. But I did very much want to acknowledge that almost all the NPCs were made by my players because they were all so fun to play.
We did briefly talk about teenagers that Ferris might know and terrorize at the movie theater because they keep sneaking in.
Yeah, we didn't have any names on them, but yeah, there were like hypothetical NPCs who, if you wanted to engage with them in game, we'd come up with names. But they were like people who worked there who you would just hate your guts.
Yeah, because Ferris always sneaks in and stays all day like a little rat, and they can't get them to stop doing it, and they're just like, "What are you gonna do about it? I'm baby."
Yeah, baby.
Can't hit me. I'm baby.
Wait! You can't do that. I'm baby.
You hurt him.
It was fun to play NPCs. I don't know if I've. This is only tangential, really, but I don't ever really do games that have NPCs. So, like, it's just fun to just, like, do all of it once. Let's go nuts.
I have to say, I was thrilled with your Patty. Just so
I'm
deeply
so
thrilled with Patty.
So sweet.
Patty was
my best.
She's a good kid.
It was like, I was saying this to Caitlin last week about how I had gone through, like, my form that I'd sent in for Beaker and was rereading the description that I'd given for Patty and was just like, oh yeah, Caitlin nailed it. Like just fucking nailed it. Amazing.
Yeah.
Baby.
I gotta say, like, as someone out here, like, anytime Patty was around, Patty stole the show, much like I feel like that person would in real life.
Oh yeah.
Like
absolutely.
100%. Like, it's so funny because I was thinking about this, not like the character absolutely, but also in like that one fan art that Lemon Twist did of Patty, where I'm like, I know this person. I've met this person before. I have seen that exact little girl. Like, I know who that is.
That was adorable. I love it.
The sunset color with his hair. Oh, it was so cute.
Yeah.
I want to just rave and praise Caitlin a bit about Caitlin.
Please
this
do.
Amazing NPC. Like, I'll admit I was very busy during like the creation period, so I didn't put much detail in my TJ's mums. I gave like a very bare minimum, and then I don't know how Caitlin did it, but Caitlin reached into my head and pulled exactly what I was imagining, and I was honestly very surprised. I was like, oh shit, wow, my description must have been really good for it to get like that. I went and looked at my description. Oh fuck, it was terrible. How did she know? How did she figure it out?
The moms were fun. I got really excited when you gave me two moms. I was like, these two are really so fun.
When I heard that you're playing, when I watched Power play and your character team, I was like, oh Yes.
That was
Taste, we got taste.
We talked about this a little bit before, but I was like, when Drac gave me the Two Moms thing, I was like, I can't tell you why, but this makes me excited for many reasons.
I have a feeling, if I had to guess, I would say being an artist with commissions plays into it. Your ability to pull that like out of minimal information.
You just like
you
pull
got
out
practice.
Of here what we need. Yeah. Oh, the moms were so fun. I am so sorry. Every time I was like, I practiced every week. I listened to things that Drac was in so I could practice the accent, and then I gave up every time Robin was on scene. I gave up on it.
God. It was fine. Honestly, I didn't expect you to even do a British accent, so the fact that you tried was very, very amusing.
I chickened out. I was brash and bold for so many things in the show, but that was the one thing I was like, I can't do a British accent to a British person. I'll die. I'm not that good at accents.
I'm right there with
you.
See,
this just makes me want to hear Drac's American accent.
Oh, no.
Oh, whoa, what's that? My mic is breaking.
I'm going through a tunnel. I can't hear you.
The nice thing is, Drac, you actually have a green screen, so you could, in fact, be going through a tunnel if you wanted.
Yeah.
Just give me a moment real quick.
All right.
Let me find an image.
Oh, man.
Oh, good. I love that.
Oh, they were fun. That was good. Everybody gave me such fun prompts for characters.
So, I saw a question come up in chat, which I thought was pretty cool, which was, and yes, Geekouts, I'm fully ignoring your non-question. I just wanted that to be acknowledged. I am ignoring your non-question. And Kai or Aya says, question, what high school club do the Loop kids join, or do they make their own club?
Ooh. So you mean like together?
Could be. Yeah, could be.
I think if it's done separately, TJ's already in a club. He's in the soccer club. You guys call it soccer, it's football. But I guess I can't really speak on everyone's behalf. What club do you think would all be in if we were doing one together?
Well, I think we would probably be the ones that created the Tabletop Club.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah.
But if we were in clubs outside of that, I think that my Beaker would probably have joined the debate team.
Cool.
I think as a group, if any of you guys have seen Mob Psycho 100, when
oh yes,
Tomei starts the Supernatural Activity Club or whatever.
Yes.
See, I think Ferris would do that, and she would similarly approach it with like a very genuine, like, we're gonna find other stuff, like mindset, and then it would similarly like sort of dissolve into like eating snacks and hanging out after school and using one of the rooms. But on their own, I think they might actually join Yearbook, if only because it would give them more access to like more photo equipment and things like that, and also just give them an excuse to be places where they shouldn't be. I'm photographing for Yearbook. I'm part of the Yearbook club, so it's fine actually that I'm not in class right now because I'm photographing the students over here for the Yearbook club.
I'm allowed.
I'm allowed.
I think that Zach, like, it had it in the lore that Zach got kicked out of the Supernatural and club for talking about cryptids too much. And I think that if they maybe like tried to start like Tabletop Club, that like maybe he's the one that puts in the initiative, but maybe they don't let him because of like the track record with like clubs and stuff. So he has to get like TJ or like Ferris to like actually get that started.
Student. Please let us.
Yeah, he's not allowed to be in the foundation of a club anymore because of maybe the mutiny that happened.
I feel like
Ferris would milk that.
I feel like I could also see Remy joining like the robotics club or like the AV club. Like that also feels like super on par for like Zach's whole thing. Not Remy, Zach. It's so weird not having everybody's character names down right now. I'm just like, who are you guys again? What are your names? I don't remember.
I've never met these people in my life.
The week it's been wiped in my mind.
Cool.
What club does Patty join?
Ooh.
Oh.
Is there like an arts and crafts?
I actually think that Patty would have been a softball player.
Ooh, Ferris and Patty are gonna be BFFs when Patty's more than a baby.
Like, she has way too much energy to not be in a sport.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was
track
like...
and field, like track and field, and then softball and the track and field off, like probably switching to a different sport every
season.
Let
her go, yeah,
like...
everyone. Like me as a kid, every sport except for volleyball.
Oh, same.
I did all of them.
I did volleyball, but I left because I was the only boy. It was back when I thought girls were icky, so I was like, yeah.
Oh, I see. Poor taste.
Girls are icky, I don't know. Poor
taste.
And now you're looking back going, man, I had it good. What kind of tosser was I? But yeah, I think that she would probably have been in like sports, like whatever sport was on seasonally, basically. But maybe also like a public speaking club as well.
I can definitely see that, yeah.
Yeah.
Patty would be an all-rounder for sure.
Alex,
definitely voted most likely to succeed in high school.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Alex, you looked like you had something you were going to add a second ago.
Oh, right. That was like another thing that didn't come up with Ferris's backstories, that I wrote in that they always wanted to play softball, but they couldn't do it just because of like the time and money that it takes to do after school sports when you have like a single parent. So they would just like go around hitting pine cones with like a baseball bat that they got secondhand or something instead, since they didn't have like the equipment or really the friends who would engage in like recreational softball, I guess, with two people.
That's why I was so glad that we ended up getting the crowbar, so
that's why I wanted a weapon.
So good.
I wanted one. I wanted one thing. I just wanted her to have something to smash stuff with if they wanted to, if they so chose.
I was very glad. I was so happy.
And as we know, they did.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't them. They found it like that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, what are you talking about? I wasn't even there.
We don't incriminate ourselves in the internet.
John Numa has an excellent question, which is, Caitlin, is your own phone's voicemail recording in the Loop voicemail voice? And if not, why not?
It is not, because it's been the same voicemail for about 8 years.
Pretty sure the last time I did mine was when I was like 21 years old.
Maybe not that long. No, maybe when I was like, maybe when I was like 18 or 19, so not that quite that long. But still, since I have not changed my voicemail.
I think that like my family home phone like voicemail message is still like me from like 10 years old.
Yes,
and
good.
like that is like
who let a baby answer the phone?
I don't know why they let me do it and they kept it. It's the same. It hasn't changed. Oh my god.
I want to hear it. It sounds so adorable.
I'm so mad that we can't hear it right
10-year-old Remy.
Call your home phone and be like, don't pick up. Don't pick up. Let me just have this.
Baby.
I should get my phone and be like, hello, thank you for calling Caitlin Bruder. You've reached the number you have dialed.
I don't even think mine is me. I think mine is just like an automated thing now on my phone. I can't remember the last time I recorded a voicemail message.
Literally after we did the voicemail thing and I posted that clip of it, I was like, what even is my voicemail right now? And I went and listened to it. I was like, oh, this is old as hell. I'm not changing it.
I was this little shit who would pretend that they've answered the phone as their voicemail.
Oh yeah, hello?
Hello?
I hate...
Fucker, I'm not but yeah, when I got a new phone, I was like, yeah, I'm matured a bit from when I was 15. Let me try something else this time.
Yeah, I had a whole bunch of friends who pulled that same gag in high school, and there was one who I fell for it every single time.
Yep, me too. Yep.
Yeah.
It was
it's too dangerous not to, because if you don't answer, if you just wait and then like, hello, I've answered you, so you have to like hope for the best.
No, a friend of mine grew up, it was hello.
Oh
Just
no!
kidding, I got you. You reached my voicemail. Every time I would be, like every voicemail I would leave her was "fuck you." Anyway, so we're going to Applebee's on Saturday.
I think I'd murder. I think I would murder someone.
Hello.
Just a little murder. Just
a little bit.
As a treat.
Just a wee bit.
Just
It's a side of murder, you know.
I'll have a number 3 voicemail with a side of murder. just a little murder.
Little
Let's see.
things.
Oh, that just made me want fries.
Why,
We already
Aki?
talked
Why
about-
would you mention that?
See, this is why I'm munching on popcorn, y'all.
Yes, good.
I've got fries right next to me. I didn't have time to eat before the stream,
Oh.
so I was in session 0 right before I joined this.
Oh no!
Put on.
Who was it for Swords Fall?
No, we did a session 0 for that yesterday. The session 0 today was for iHunt campaign that I'm going to be in, which I'm very excited for.
Okay, I actually have. So, Gemini Lightning actually has a series of questions, one for each individual player.
Ooh.
I'll start at the top and just go. Aki, which TTRPG system does Beaker enjoy the most in 2020, and why?
Oh, 2020.
In 2020?
Yeah, I assume so that you have the option of like
all.
the more recent ones.
Right. Oh no, this is a difficult question because I am trying very hard not to project my own favorites onto Beaker. But I think that Beaker actually kind of maybe more so than I do, kind of clings to fantasy. Because I like variety. I like to dip around, dip my toes in a lot of stuff. So I can see them kind of sticking to things like D&D and Pathfinder, and maybe trying some of the more obscure like fantasy titles as well. But I don't see and I don't see that. I don't think that they won't try other systems. I think they have like a deep, hardcore love and tie to like fantasy. Mostly because of how they were introduced to it. So I can see them still like being pretty staunch for I bet D&D 5e was like, they either loved it, they're like, oh, this is great, I can introduce so many people to D&D because anybody can play it, or they hated it, just like, this is not D&D, I played AD&D, and it's like they were either one or the other. They're probably the type that just got really excited about the fact that they could share D&D in a super easy way with like their friends, their kids, that kind of stuff.
I actually have that's excellent. I have a follow-up question actually of my own, which is does Beaker become the sort of person who like goes out of their way to collect RPGs, or?
I have a feeling they still have like the books that they had as a kid, and they probably go to like used bookstores and stuff like that to look for like old vintage printings of books as they've come out. Like probably is really big on first edition stuff. Like anytime Call of Cthulhu or anything like that comes out with like a special printing or edition of something, they're like, yes. It's like their one little treat that they give themselves whenever that happens. I think they're otherwise rather frugal with their spending. Yeah. And they're not a dice dragon either. Like they're a book dragon, but not a dice dragon. Like they probably have 2 or 3 sets that they've used their entire life, and they haven't really gone out of their way to get more.
Cool. Awesome. I love that.
I do want to add, this was a kind of this was the thing that Lucas pointed out to me that I didn't even notice. I think I told you guys after the game that ended up being really cool. But like in the first episode, Beaker brought what was the Call of Cthulhu? Is that what the game was called? When that book was mentioned in the first episode, and then y'all ended up meeting a cosmic entity, and helping it get home, and we were like, "That's so cool!" I didn't even recognize it because I think I was like panicking through the entire first episode. But Lucas was like, "Do you notice that?" And I was like, "No, I didn't. That's so cool." That's amazing.
Yeah, I think what I was saying was
I knew this whole time.
I just thought it was interesting because like there's so many of like Stranger Things. It like brings D&D into it as like their like ground to sort of the lens through which the kids understand what's happening. And I was like,
yeah, but like Stranger Things is 100% Call of Cthulhu.
It super is, yeah. Yeah, and so I was just thinking about that after that first episode, and I was like, oh man, that's so perfect that Beaker had Call of Cthulhu with them, because now it's and it never ended up coming up, but like it was just kind of a cool thing that was, yeah.
That made me so happy. Love, there were so many, I'm sure they'll come up as we put, but there were so many things that y'all did or the choices you made that I was like, this is just immaculate. Like this is, you don't even know what's coming, but this is so perfect. Like it made me so happy. Like
Well, it was really, really fun because, like, basically, once I had kind of decided that, like, Beaker read RPGs but never had actually played any, I was like, well, what RPGs came out in the 80s so that I can pull them into the game? And I was like, wow, I didn't realize that Call of Cthulhu came out in, like, I think it was 84 or 81, something like that. It's like, well, this is cool. And then there is also, like, MERPs and, like, AD&D and stuff like that. Like, it was a fairly short list, but it was some pretty big titles that, like, came out in that time.
Yeah.
That's very good. I loved that.
I'm gonna move on in the questions, in the specific to individual questions. Remy, which cryptid does Zach continue to seek out into his adulthood, or does he grow out of that phase?
I think he's still like, he probably is like going to like the Mothman Festival. He's probably there like the first like year that it starts or something. He's still like out there looking for that, but I think he like moves on to like other weird conspiracy stuff too, and like playing like ARGs and in on that. So he doesn't lose like the weird searching the truth is out there kind of like person. Probably hates the X-Files eventually. But he's probably always looking for something weird and new, whatever that may be. Like, I don't know, there wasn't like in on the chemtrails thing or whatever, and like that's the newest like weird conspiracy for some people, so he's always on the cutting edge of whatever, I think.
Amazing. Let's see. John, I'll actually let you can go ahead and handle the rest of these.
Sure. Before we get to the next one for Drac, there was one other question in chat, which was that
I didn't even see that.
Did Beaker repeatedly slam the back this Kickstarter button for Swords Fall?
I mean, yes. I think that like there are a couple of them that like that Beaker was just like, yes, please. Most likely Invisible Sun was one of them. Swords Fall was one of them. Like, yeah, they probably, oh man, I wish I could have backed Swords Fall. I was not in a position at the time to back Swords Fall, but I was so excited with all of like the great press that it got and the fact that it was so successful as a Kickstarter. And I'm so happy that I got the chance to actually play a session of Swords Fall.
So everyone needs to watch it. It's on Hyper RPG. Literally, yesterday we're doing a session 0 and we're watching that session to like understand the
No. But yeah, like that's probably some not the most difficult, but some of the most intimidating RP I've ever done for a stream. I came in late and I had no idea what was happening.
Oh, no.
Just like I mean, I knew what was happening, but I was just like, I haven't done like musical improv in so long, and I have no idea if I'm going to be any good at this. And
I want to just shoot that in the bud right now. We're not rapping in this, okay? I'm going to say that right now. We can't freestyle. We can't do that.
I wrote all of my lyrics. Like
that is a bit of a stretch for me.
I love that.
I had a paper that I was just writing everything down on. Like, coming up with lyrics off the top of my head is, I have a lot of practice. Writing very angsty ballads as a teenager. I was that kid.
Bredo thankfully allowed to bend the rules a little bit, and we ended, instead of being like rappers, we're essentially a band. So we got like 2 people who are going to be doing like the vocals, and my character's like the drums in the back.
Ooh, so I like it.
Cool.
Because I am not good with words. Even written word, I'm not good at it.
I would like to contest that statement and claim it false right now. I have seen you be good at words, and so therefore I am not understanding why you're saying you are not good at words.
It's like a classic Shakespeare sort of situation where the character's like, "Now I don't claim to be good with words," and then
it's just like
magnificent 2-page speech. Like,
unless you're Don John from Much Ado About Nothing, you don't get to say you're not good with words.
I'm good enough to communicate with people, and that's about it.
All you need.
Communication is the most important part of being good with words.
I mean, fine. Okay, I'm okay.
Accept my compliment and my love, Drac.
I accept it. I'm sorry.
There's self-love and confidence in this loop.
In this loop, we stand.
Yep.
All right. Actually, though, question for Drac from Gemini Lightning. Does TJ ever tell his moms about what he did out of a guilty conscience?
Okay.
Or for any other reason.
For any reason, yeah.
Slips up, forgets.
TJ was very much based on me as a kid. And a lot of the things I did was I would hold on to the guilt for as long as possible until I was too old for them to punish me for it. And then I'd bring it out randomly. So it's like, oh, by the way, mom, like I probably go teacher probably going off to university. I'm like, by the way, mom, remember like 5-6 years ago, I broke into your office. Bye.
Hey, like, call you next week on our weekly book. Bye.
Yeah, he was very much, because that's definitely a tactic I do. And there's a lot of things that I still feel guilty about. I'm like, mom, when I was 12, I was the one that took the cookie from the cookie jar. I'm sorry. I've held on to that guilt for years.
The worst part is when your parents look at you after you say something like that and go, "You think we didn't know that?"
Yeah, and I'm like, what? I've been living with this for so long, and you knew? Yeah.
We're not dumb. There's only 2 other people in this house. It wasn't your mother.
Yeah. So yeah, I think he would have probably like a year or so after. I think he would have been like, he would have had at the beginning of just the first few weeks, he would have probably had like weeks of actually being legitimately so guilty that he can't get to sleep. Like he's just pacing back and forth in his room. After a while, he'll obviously it'll move to the back of his mind, but like every so often he might remember it. And I think just one day, like a year. Yeah. I think just one maybe his mom does something really nice for him, just randomly gets this surprise for him, and he's like, oh no, I don't deserve this, mom. I broke into your office. Yeah, I think that's probably how it happened. It was probably on his birthday. His mom got him the present that he always wanted, and was like, mom, I don't deserve this, okay? I broke into your office back a couple of years ago. I don't deserve this gift. But yeah, I think that's how it would have happened.
I would say, I mean, the moms probably assume that, well, I mean, 50-50 on whether Robin would have informed Maya about it, but I think she would have assumed that with everything that happened, that it was an outer loop, like, not a hit, that's the wrong word, but like project, like they got into her office to like get her shit because she wasn't available to get it and they needed the whatever, like, and Hal would have ended up taking a lot of the fall for a lot of things that happened. And so that might have ended up the stolen keys, because the first one he did take and they were aware of it after a certain amount of time, they figured it out. But yeah, at that point it would have been assumed that it was either a loop job or it was part of this whole heist that they would not have expected a bunch of tweens to have been involved with. Oh, I don't know if your mom believes you. If you tell her about the key, I don't know if Robin believes you. I don't know. I think it would depend on the situation, how much time has passed, because she won't remember a lot from that time.
Yeah.
I do love the image in my mind of like at some point, like at dinner, like Robin talking about how that, I heard about, so Hal, he's going to be definitely serving a certain amount of jail time. You know, he broke into the bank, stole a key, broke into my office, stole a key, and TJ just like
TJ just like cutting into his dinner like, like, mom, I'm
all right,
I'm not
TJ, put your head
anymore.
Between your knees. Take a few deep breaths.
Yeah. Oh man.
Like,
oh, that's funny.
I don't like that guy, but also, what if he's getting punished for something he didn't do?
Mom, you know what? I actually have some math homework to do. I'm just gonna.
I gotta go.
I'll eat later. Bye.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I think it would depend on the circumstances in which it comes up and like how much time has passed, how much your mom has moved past it. But yeah, there is a chance, on depending on how it goes, that she would just kind of be like, "What?" Like wouldn't put much weight on it at all.
I think that'll just make him even more guilty. Like, she's not punishing me. What am I supposed to do? She's not grounding me.
I think if you ended up telling her everything, she might believe you. But if you just mention that I broke into your office, I think it might be like, it's a 50-50 toss up on how that reaction goes. But if you tell her everything, I think she'd be disappointed and scared for you. But like the little bit of mom pride and like, oh, you're doing science things that are involved with my work, and then also you save the world, but also you put yourself in danger. But like also like you did a really powerful good thing and you did technically save all of us, but you left your mom alone when you were supposed to, like you broke into the loop, and but also like I'm so happy you're safe. Like it would have been that that kind of thing. And then you would never tell anyone ever again. She would implore you to never speak of it again in your life.
Yeah, he'll happily not tell anyone. Like the only thing he only wants to tell his moms. That's the only guilt he has. Once he's able to get that off his chest, he doesn't care who doesn't or does know.
Yep. Anyways, I think that's fun. I love moms.
All right, last one of the character-specific questions for Alex. Is there a reason or backstory why Ferris was such a rebel in spirit?
So I was the oldest when I was growing up, and that came usually with the caveat that I was helping take care of my younger sister, who is 5 years younger than me. So by the time that I was Ferris's age, I didn't really have like a social life or things that I liked doing by myself, because I was always at home like trying to help my mom by making dinners. But Ferris has the blessing of being an only child in this house, so they don't have to. So I was like, yeah, absolutely. If I were an only child and it were not my responsibility to be responsible, I would have absolutely done more things that were rebellious and would have gotten me in more trouble and probably would have given my mom more grief. But ultimately, I think I would have had way more fun as a teenager sneaking out and sneaking into movies when I was 13 rather than the reality, which was like, I wasn't a perfect student. I did do my homework on the bus, but also I was spending most of my time at home helping my younger sister with her homework and like making sure that she ate dinner, and then, you know, spending the rest of that time fighting over who got to watch TV or something like that. So it was kind of like escapism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool. Let's see. I'm going back through just seeing if there were questions. I think we got all the questions from chat so far, right? I think
so.
Okay. Then there is a question earlier from Geek Outs earlier, which is what piece of loop tech, i.e. robots, hover tech, etc., do you wish was real?
I was thinking like hover tech, but then I remember how sick I get just like laying on like a lazy river on like an inner tube, like a water park or something, and I'm like, maybe not. Maybe I don't want that. I think like having like the guard robot that we had, having one of those big guys like roaming around and being able to ride on that and just like hang out with that. I think that'd be neat.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say no to a giant rubber duck that is huge and metal.
That's what I was going to say. I was just like, I don't know what they did, but I would love to find out what it is they actually did.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah. Personally, as someone who is a physics fan, the loop and the arch would be pretty fucking cool. Like the arch that works, so like the teleportation part, not the ripping into another universe part. But that would be cool if they could rip into it safely. I'd be down for that.
A safe rip
like,
through space and time.
Tear, just a tiny one, just a little one. We're not gonna rip the whole like space-time continuum. Just
yeah.
Maybe instead of a rip, we put a zipper on it.
That's maybe it's like one of those when like not the like one of those, you know, the rips in the universe that you rip open, but maybe one of the ones with a little zip thing on it, so you can like close it back. Like
this is maybe a JoJo reference. Snaps. I don't know if any of you realize this is a JoJo reference. There's a stand that can do this.
Wait, which one is that?
JoJo
it's in the recent one with Giovanni. The guy like the
boss, donut head?
Boss, but like the pardon?
Is that the
donut?
It's
donut. It's with the donut head guy, but
yeah. You can literally
guy
zipper it, like make a zipper appear anywhere and step into like a no space.
Well, hell yeah!
You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become a JoJo reference.
Apparently.
Cool.
It's fun to make up fake technology. That's all I liked. We didn't really get to explore a lot of it, but like there were a few. I was like, yeah, fake science. Let's do this. Some of it was real science, but a lot of it was fake science.
I think. Oh,
I was just
gonna.
Oh, go ahead, John.
You first. You first.
Okay. I was just gonna say that one of my favorite things was Caitlin telling me about all of the like research that she did on like electromagnetism and like on all of that stuff, particle accelerators. Like, it was my favorite thing. It was, yeah.
I was loving it. I was like, yeah, this is throwing me back to my my undergrad days and when I studied in physics.
Yeah, found out after the stream that like Drac has been to a particle accelerator and like knew all of the shit like in real life what I was saying.
I was actually, when you're talking about the the Loop version, which is a cyclone, I was waiting for you to mention like the other type. I was like, is she gonna say it? Is she gonna say? She mentioned it. Yes, like she did her research in this. Damn. Yeah, I did, John. I went to a CERN. It was a lot of fun. I was a kid. I was like 15, so we spent a lot of it just fucking around, staying up late in the hotel room. But like, it was a ton of fun. We got to walk around in the actual Loop. They turned it off, so you got to actually walk around in it and like, see, it was
sick.
Huge.
I love that.
So cool.
Massive.
That's amazing.
Is the CERN a synchrotron or is it the other type that I can't remember the name of?
Synchrotron, yeah.
It is synchrotron. Okay. Big circle.
Yeah. I think that's what the C stands for, I think. I can't remember, but yeah. Yeah.
No, it's synchrotron is an S word. I know what the CERN stands for. I had to look it up because they're not in the words aren't the letters aren't in the order of the word, like the sense that they'd be said.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I can't remember. But yeah.
I'm gonna have to look it up now because that's gonna make me mad that I can't remember that I literally just researched this.
Oh, John just put it inside there.
Did you put it in the chat?
In the chat.
Yeah, European Organization for Nuclear Research. Yes.
Huh. Cool.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
The more you know. Yeah, I was there for physics, not for language. So I just went to look at it and figure out how magnetism affected electricity and stuff like that, and how it affected charged subatomic particles and stuff like that. Yeah.
It was fun to look stuff up because like some of the things that I was looking up, I was like, I should probably like figure out how this stuff works. I didn't look up beforehand. So like I was getting there, I was like, oh, this all works with the story I've laid out so far. So that was fun. It was good to be able to like research weird shit because like some people probably know I do Stone Houses, which is a folklore podcast, which is not like science stuff, but like being able to look into like the history of things or like the science behind stuff like in like a fictional setting is one of my favorite things. So being able to do that for this, like I was like, I haven't done this in months. This is so fun. So yeah,
I think what's cool, like this is me fanboying about physics, is that a lot of physics sounds like fantasy anyway.
Yeah, yes.
Like there's a lot of things that you talk about and you're like, that's not fucking real.
It's not real.
No, that's not real. But it absolutely is. Like apparently, like gravity is the weakest force between anything. All of the forces, the strongest forces are literally called the strong force, which is the force between. The physicists aren't very creative with names. It makes studying very easy, but also it's just not fun.
Yeah.
They're a scientist, not a lit major.
Good point. Yeah, and that's why nobody really enjoys science. It was very boring terminology.
It was, I remember as a writing tutor for years and years and years for like undergrad students, it was always such a struggle like having bio students or like chem students come in with their term papers and they'd be like, I really want to take that suggestion, but also my professor penalized me last time for that. So I was like, you know what? Good to know. I'll take that under advisement for my other biology student. They were so dry. It hurt.
It's yeah. I realized the idea of physics was fun, but actually studying it was not for me. So yeah, I ended up dropping that.
Doing better than me. I failed physics in high school, but then again, who gives a high school freshman physics? Like,
I've never studied physics. The highest level of science I ever studied was chemistry.
Chemistry made me cry. I actually cried after the chemistry exam. I hated it.
Oh, I like that better.
See, I like biology. Biology is my favorite science.
I was gonna be a biologist, and then I found out that you could be a comic major, and then I did.
You can just do that. Only at a few schools though.
Yep, only 7 or 8 of them.
Yeah, MCAT's one of them.
Stout's one of them. Middle of fucking nowhere, Wisconsin. I got a comics degree.
Hey.
There you go.
I have a question earlier from John Numa, which is maybe one of my favorite questions asked ahead of time, which is, why the duck? A thing that I have asked on many occasions, but it was usually due to autocorrect. So,
that was good.
This, I assume, was exactly what John Numa meant, which is, why the duck?
I thought this is a very freaking question, because today I had another interview, and I think Alex, the person that interviewed you, they interviewed me, and they asked why the duck. That was part of the interview. So yeah. Apparently a lot of people were wondering about this.
It was in concept art, right? It was, or in some of the art of the book, there was like that huge duck structure, and when he did a hideout, so we were like, giant duck.
We all liked just the duck. Like, we were trying to figure out, like, pre-plan the hideout, like, and it worked perfectly because we all just kept going to, like, the tech graveyard, and it's like, that could just live there, so why not? We all like this weird duck. It's going there.
I think that there's like the piece of concept art is actually like a field full of these abandoned ducks.
It's like 3 or 4.
I remember when I was looking at the art myself while we were researching this, I was like, I don't even think that I had mentally even started thinking about like our hideout or anything like that at that time. But when Caitlin brought it up, I was just like, we don't have a duck. I'm quitting.
We're done. I'm out.
And I guess it helps since we didn't have an established friend group beforehand, even though we all sort of knew each other. It was just easiest to have a space that was like that we all found on the same night, rather than like an actual clubhouse or like a tree house or something like that would have had to have like a pre-established context for it to exist.
It was really fun to like do that beforehand, I think, like, because as the audience you didn't know like what they were about to find, but like we as the players knew you were going to find it at some point, and the fact that y'all got to choose it, pick it, like make it, it was like before, it was just really cool. And so it was cool, it was fun to be able to like, y'all knew where to head for that, you knew it was coming, maybe that was what you're angling towards, which is one of the reasons why I say metagaming can benefit your story immensely. I think people who just fully bash on metagaming, like it should be all improv, you should never know what's coming. No, we can have fun with that. Like, it was good, and we kind of talked a little bit about it beforehand, like about like how Beaker has history with it, and like it's in this place so y'all keep coming to, and it was literally in a piece of concept art during that one meeting, and everyone was like, duck, and we were like, yeah, all right, we'll get there at some point. You guys will have a big duck at some point in the game.
Especially for like a shorter term game, like metagaming can be such an incredible tool for helping to craft and shape a story, because you only have so much time to get things done. So if you don't have like at least some sort of concept of where you're headed, or what needs to be accomplished, like checking in with each other and with your storyteller on like, how do we make sure we get to this point in the story? Like, what is it you would like for us to do or need for us to do, or what should we be expecting? Is just like, because at the end of the day, it's collaborative storytelling. And like, that means if you're not checking in pretty regularly, like things will get dropped or missed or looked over that probably shouldn't have been.
Not to mention, and I'll add this in, even though this was not the question, but I will add this in myself, because I think we're on the subject and it's a good thing to talk about, which is that it also, the thing with a streamed game is like when you're GMing a game and it's just like a home game, and it's just, the group of people at your table, like that group of people, it's collective storytelling and you're all writing it, but to some degree as the GM, they're also kind of your audience, right? And so there are some things that you can do on a streamed game that it's harder to do in an in-person game, because when you have an actual audience who's not involved directly in the game, then you can have some of those moments of like, okay, so what do you think, like behind the scenes, the metagaming aspect of like, what do you think your character will want to do in the next session? Or like, you can have some of these conversations and things become possible in that way that wouldn't in just like a home game. And so, yes, all of this to say, metagaming can be good sometimes.
And why the duck? why not the duck?
Why not? Yeah.
Really, that's the
Again,
answer.
escapism. I would love to do that. I used to like the few times that I would like sneak out, anytime that I could sneak around a place like that, I would absolutely take it.
Yeah.
Granted, the best I got was apartment structures that were still being constructed, but
I'm
no
gonna
ducks.
find a picture of the duck for chat.
I don't think we had like we didn't have like any other ideas either. It was just like we saw the duck like during the
Love
like
at
what is our
first
hideout
sight.
conversation. And
The
that
duck was the one, really. Yeah.
True romance. When you know, you know.
Good, they're these big metal, scrappy-looking ducks, like just like pockmarked, riddled with
Bullet holes.
Yeah.
Like,
There's a lot
you
of-
like
there's like
dense.
legitimately no explanation for what these
think-
ducks were used for,
Yeah.
or
They just built a bunch of
like,
giant ducks to beat them
they've
up.
got targets
Like,
on them.
they had
so maybe
targets on
they're,
them?
Like, part of a
Was there like a rubber duck
This-
invasion and they were practicing?
maybe
But
they
it
were
seems very
tanks,
specific, you
or
know?
I don't know.
I had if like we didn't if we didn't end up going with Beaker's like connection backstory to the duck, I was actually going to suggest that it was like a carnival prop, and that because it reminded me of the duck shooting gallery kind of thing. So that might be what it's trying to reference there.
It's
Maybe it
interesting.
was
It's very possible that that was an experiment that was done, like enlarging things, like shrinking and
Ooh.
enlarging things. Might have been a loop experiment, and like the ducks are a result of one of those experiments.
Mhm.
That's actually a pretty. Whoa.
I just like I'm flashing back to all the times that I, corn-fed Iowa boy, have driven through like soybean fields and just seen like a whole horizon of like windmill farms and stuff like that. But I'm just imagining like waking up one morning, driving up the road to the next town over, and just seeing, instead of empty wastes full of soybean fields, just a bunch of giant pockmarked ducks.
The ducks were like, it was such an interesting thing that I was like, are we gonna be able to make this seem like serious, but like was totally like had no
Yeah.
issues like turning it into like
Yeah.
a thing that actually meant something. And like the reason we had made the clubhouse beforehand is because if you caught it, or if you, in case you hadn't heard or whatever, the clubhouse in like Tales from the Loop is like a mechanic thing. Like you get bonuses from it, which we didn't end up using a lot of the outside mechanics, but like it was a 4-episode show,
Yeah.
so there wasn't a lot of time to use like anchors and stuff like that. But it was cool. And like when y'all went in there, I was like, okay, quick, how do we make this a thing? And I was like, those pockmarked holes would make, literally in the desert with the dust or the snow, would make such a cool light show. Like
Yeah.
in that thing. Like, so I was really excited to get you guys in the duck and be like, it looks cool as hell inside this metal duck. Oh man.
Let's see. I think we have one more question that was ahead of time, John, if you want to take that one.
Oh, yeah. So for any of the players, what is the most treasured or valued piece of advice your character ever got, and who was it from? I'll take a moment to mull that one over.
Also, if anyone in chat has questions too, the questions didn't need to be before.
Right, yeah, no, you can still be asking questions.
Yeah.
This is one I got personally, and I feel like if TJ got it as well, it would have stuck with him. Is that no matter what you do it so well that when you stop, people notice. So like I got that advice from when it came to internships. My friend, my dad actually told me, he's my friend, I guess. So, it works.
Yeah.
But my dad was like, yeah, if you're going to do any kind of internship, any type of apprenticeship, do the job so well that when it ends, people are like, oh, Jack's gone. Like, everything's so much harder now. We kind of want him back. And I think Robin would have I think Maya would actually given that advice to TJ. And I think he would have applied it to obviously more things than internships. So like friendships for sure. He'd probably try it in school. I don't know if it'll work. Definitely like just for clubs like the football team and stuff like that. But yeah, I think he would definitely do that. He'd be the type that goes all in until he like quite literally can't anymore.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
I think for Beaker, the advice that they likely got was, imagination is the most powerful tool you'll ever have. So don't, so keep it sharp. And it's probably, they probably got that advice from Parker. Um, so yeah, I think that that's something that as you get older, it becomes more difficult to kind of hold on to. And I feel like as adults, we're all very lucky that we've kept the tool of our imagination sharp. But it's something that a lot of adults lose touch with because life suddenly gets hard, and it's difficult to hold on to like your imagination because reality is just so a lot all the time. Yeah. So I think that would have been something, especially as they started to get older and perhaps like kind of felt the weight of the responsibility of being the caretaker in their home, becoming a lot. Parker would have probably taken them aside and be like, "Look, this is the most powerful like thing you have. Like, don't lose it because it's important." So, yeah.
I think maybe like just probably maybe Zach's is from Andy. Just be like very simply stay weird as like something, because Zach's like mechanically like on the character sheet. Zach's pride is I can see things in the world other people can't, and that it's just a reminder to keep your individuality. And because Andy as a character, like I wrote him to be just very struggling with that, I guess that same idea of trying to conform to being a high schooler and all that like shit that comes with it. And Zach hasn't reached that point of cynicism yet, maybe. So stay weird and keep enjoying all that weird stuff.
I think for Ferris, sort of in a very vague, metaphorical way, something that I've always remembered is my grandma telling me just like eat when you're hungry. And I think at the time we were just talking about like eating routines and if you should eat like 3 meals a day or 5 meals a day or whatever like that. But on a wider scale, it's just about like doing things that you enjoy when you want to enjoy them because you want to enjoy them, which is definitely something that I wanted to be sort of key to Ferris as a teenager and as a character, that they don't really feel like they need to adhere to the expectations set on them because the expectations that they have of like their parents or other people in their lives aren't being met. So why should they ultimately have to like default to that? It's like, no, eat when you're hungry, skip class when you don't want to be there, go see a movie, go do like whatever you want, pick up a crowbar, write a screenplay, like eat when you're hungry, live as you want to.
I love that.
Those are all
very Ferris.
And that would probably be said by Sylvie as a grandma stand-in. I'm a grandma's baby. I love my grandma. Like, I love older women. They're wise. They have so much to say. So
Sylvie definitely has a lot of things to say.
And nobody stopped her yet.
Yeah.
Nobody stopped her yet.
Nobody stopped her yet. I love that, like that quote. When she said that, I'm like, oh god, I stand her.
Just started one day and nobody stopped me yet. I feel like that's kind of been her life motto for like ever.
Yeah.
It was in that moment I was like, okay, yeah, I see why Ferris is all about her. I see.
Oh, it was fun basing all like NPCs like off of the characters too. Like y'all gave me like enough, but I was like, okay, well, how do these characters inform like your characters, which was really fun. So that was definitely one with Sylvia. I was like, from what I knew about Ferris, I was like, okay, so this is who Sylvia is.
she is a dream. She's perfect. She's everything I could have asked of Ferris's anchor.
Good. I do actually, this round of questions, brought a new question from me to you. Is there anything from your character sheets you want to share? Because the Tales from the Loop character sheets for everyone, for the audience, they have, basically you have, like there are phrases involved, like on your sheet for like your pride and whatever, and like your relationship to other kids. Like if there's anything on there that you think is particularly cool or fun, because we didn't get to share any of that on stream. So if there's because Rim had shared one of Zach's, but if there's any more that you thought would be fun. I don't know if everyone even has easy access to any of those sheets, but
I just pulled mine up now.
yeah, some of y'all had some cool stuff on there, and I didn't know if there were any of them.
My drive was that I wanted to make fantasy reality. And in that vein, we got to pick like a favorite song for our characters. Like either that it was the character's favorite song or a song that we felt connected to the character, and the character that I picked for the song that I picked for Beaker was Pure Imagination.
Yes.
So I realized, okay, this is a very good example of how, okay, so I guess my character changed from what I expected him to be like. Because one of his drives was, I'm in it for the thrill. But I think we all realized that TJ was terrified. And I kind of realized that, I guess it was more because of how everyone else seems just so like into it. I thought maybe we needed some kind of foil, someone to be like, to balance it out. So I kind of slipped into that role of, this is terrifying. I can't do this.
People who are terrified of things can still be in it for the thrill. Maybe they like to be scared.
Thrill in safe distance. You like a very good safe thrill.
A safe distance.
What would you, if you had to replace, if you feel like that no longer fits, is there some sort of sentiment, even if you don't have the wording how you'd want it? Is there anything that you would replace that with? And you don't have to. You can just say, nah, I don't want to think about it. That's also a valid answer.
Because I have an idea, but I'm trying to just figure out the words, how to explain it. Like even though he was scared, he kept going with everyone. So I think it'd probably be like, his job is probably like
something about bravery.
Being brave despite being brave despite being scared. Yeah. And especially for his friends, I think that was probably like the main thing. If everyone was like, let's go home, we'd be like, fuck yeah, let's go home. But the fact that his friends were like going forwards with this plan, like he probably couldn't with like a good conscience just let them leave without him.
Loyalty and bravery in the face of adversity,
I guess.
Adversity. Yeah. That's the word I was looking
for.
Got it. Yeah. That's cute. I just want to say Alex just sent the chat little lion man, and I thought that was very cute, and I wanted to share.
Oh, that's adorable. That's probably like Robin's nickname for him. Little pet
name. Little lion man. Cute.
Oh, it's so cute.
That's adorable.
I'm just gonna melt into a puddle on the floor now.
I already said.
You go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
Oh, you go.
Okay, fine. The thing I already shared Zach's pride, but the thing from his sheet that I also didn't necessarily follow through on was that his drive was I want to impress the people around me. And I tried to maybe a little bit play into like that with like how kind of knowledgeable he seemed to be about the weird conspiracy stuff, but at the same time I am a very unimposing person, and I know I'm not very good at impressing people to an extent. So I think
impress me.
Exactly.
Every day.
But not maybe in the sense that Zach would be impressive to people, like trying to be impressive to people. And I didn't have like, I guess, a concrete example on how to characterize that. So I made him just like into Mulder from the X-Files of kind of like weird, like just gonna kind of be kind of esoteric and think people think I'm smart because of it.
Good. Oh, I love that.
I was just gonna say that with Ferris, the advice already kind of covers it, because their drive was, I want to live my way, and their problem was that I don't want to live up to others' expectations of me. But what I do want to share is that their song was Disobedient by Sadie Killer and the Suspects from the Steven Universe movie.
Good,
mm-hmm.
Good.
It was perfect.
Before anyone says anything, I gave them all explicit permission to pick a song from after the 80s. I said, I don't care, you do whatever you want. I think the book says, pick song from the 80s. I'm like, no, you can pick whatever you want.
I mean, Take On Me's a bop. But this one has more of that thrash rock that I really wanted.
True. Mm-hmm. You guys couldn't. My players didn't have my music, which made me so sad. But the audience got it. But when Ferris is introduced, rock music played.
I didn't watch, so I didn't know that. Oh.
I'm so shredding on a guitar or something for like the first little bit until it was like, because I was being dramatic for you right away, and then I went back to normal.
I'm so sad. Oh, I probably would have lost it during, so it's probably for the best.
That reminds me, I didn't pick a song. But if I can, like, I'm looking at my phone now, so I can pick a song.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think my song would have been. Mine would have been a Steven Universe song for sure.
We didn't really get to experience what Beaker's problem was so much, but their problem was that they would fight. They would fight when they should flee. They're scrappy kids. They should not fight. They are squishy twig of a human being that could get snapped in half by just about anything. But they carried a foam LARP sword. They were ready for anything.
That was the first character concept introduction I got to Beaker, which was should not fight, will regardless. And I was like, I already love that.
And TJ was going to be like the enabler. It's going to be like, yeah go Beaker, go.
Yeah.
But yeah, we never had the chance to do it.
And
they're really getting a fight.
Yeah, their pride was that, and it's really funny. I had plenty of opportunities to check my pride, and it would have worked. But their pride was people I care about can count on me.
Oh, I love that.
The relationships were also a lot of fun to come up with.
The relationship with Ferris was that TJ's a little bit scared of her.
Yes,
it didn't really come up, but it was fun.
It was so funny. Oh, sitting with everyone and creating all of what's your opinion? What's your relationship with other kids? Even though you don't super all know each other, that was really, really fun.
Originally, I didn't even want Ferris to be scary, and then it just happened.
I have a question for everyone. What do you think what do you think our kids ended up doing when they grew up, like their jobs and stuff like that?
I've already been thinking about this.
I was thinking about it too, and I was like, I have to ask this question because I'm very curious.
In an ideal world, and I guess this is the ideal world, I think TJ would have actually gone into soccer, like professional soccer. I think we'd have been like the captain of the team, and I think he would have made it like mandatory for like a club TTRPG session, like once a month for team building.
Yeah,
I think it would have made it mandatory. But yeah, I think it would have been playing for some not crazy big. It's not like I don't know, Olympics. I think Olympics have soccer in it, right? Yeah, they do. It's nothing like huge. It's probably like I don't know how soccer works in the States. Is there like a state soccer team? Is that how it works?
We have like national.
Not as big as
I don't even know.
It's not as big
I don't even know
as any of our other teams. Like, there's a reason why the men's soccer team in America doesn't get very far.
Yeah. Then in that case, I think he got picked up by England. I think he went back to
there you
England
go.
and he got picked up by them, and he's playing back at home. Yeah.
I love that. Cute. Are you one of those like celebrity figures who gets to come on like Tabletop RPG streams for like charity events?
For sure, yes. Yes. I think oh god, yeah, I think he would have backed Swordsfall for sure. He would have tweeted about it, like, hey, everyone back Swordsfall.
I love that.
Yeah.
All of his rabid soccer fans are just like, I have no idea what this is, but I'm gonna back it.
We bring the two worlds together.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Beaker and TJ screaming at each other about Swordsfall on Twitter.
Yes.
Everybody's like, who is this guy that like Drac keeps talking to? We have no idea who that person is. Beaker works at the Loop.
Yes.
Yeah, Beaker ended up at the Loop for sure.
Oh god, I love
Would you have like a
Oh no, I just said I love that. That's what I said.
Do you have like a particular thought for like what their specialty would be? Are they like research? Are they more like invention? Like, or is there like a particular field that they go into that you can make up whatever you want exists at the Loop now?
I think that depending on how things went with the Arch project, they might have found themselves tied up in that, probably with the explicit desire of finding a safe way to do like dimensional shifts and stuff like that. So like taking the transportation thing the one step further, in the hopes that maybe they'd meet their friend again. Like and like actually maybe figure out a safe way to explore their world or their universe. Like interdimensional like rift hopping, stuff like that would definitely probably have been what they would have gotten into.
Department of Interdimensional Rifts.
I think the Arch project gets shelved again after the Mark II failure, and decade and a half later, the Mark III comes into the limelight of the Loop once again, headed by one Baxter Michaels. Oh, I love that.
I mean,
definitely with Robin on the assist.
And it totally makes sense, right? Like this facility accidentally finds a way to breach another universe, and then at some point somebody's going to be like, okay, but hold on, what if we did it on purpose?
Yeah.
What if we did it on purpose?
I mean, a bunch of tweens did in fact do that.
That's true, yeah.
The experts on it.
Yeah.
We're experts on it.
Yeah, I mean,
Do you break your
nobody knows any better than you do, so.
That's true.
Yeah.
Do you break your Loop NDAs to tell your friends when and / if you succeed?
There's some sort of like, because the one thing that I think that we develop as a group over time is our own secret language.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that we can communicate with each other about like all of the weird mysteries that we get into. So I think that at some point they just get an encoded message.
Oh, I love that.
Like someone looks through our phones, it looks like we're talking about groceries for some reason, but to us we're like, okay, yeah, this is about that thing.
Do they succeed?
I would like to hope that they did, but I think that it might have taken a few tries, and they might have been not old by the time that they accomplished it, but like it took a lot of time. And I think that maybe one night when the Loop is empty and nobody's around, 4 older people sneak into the Loop and maybe go on a little bit of a joyride through a few different dimensions.
God, I love that.
You all have your separate, you all have your own lives now. Like, you have potentially families, and you take a weekend to visit the old stomping grounds, to take a tour of the graveyard, which still unfortunately exists. It's a different shape now. But your old friend Beaker has something to show you. I love that.
Oh, that's great.
We have our very own It too, but it's a lot less terrifying.
Yeah, a lot less traumatic.
Yeah,
ideally, and you remember your childhoods, hopefully.
Yeah.
Did everybody get a chance to answer that question? I don't think so.
Only got halfway.
No,
Okay,
we only got halfway through. I do think Ferris would likewise make the mistake of going to an art school. Hopefully, in the 90s, that would detriment their life less than it has done to mine. And they could come out the other end of it with an actual degree in film. I don't want to go and say that they would immediately be successful, but they probably do a lot of crew work and help a lot behind the scenes on like horror flicks and things like that as they slowly try to get their own stuff off the ground. And I always thought about it because Remy and I at one point had a conversation about how these characters in the current day would be into their 50s. And I thought about the time that I met Laura Jane Grace before seeing her in concert to see Against Me. And she's like 6 feet tall. She's got tattoos going up both of her arms, wearing all black and combat boots with her hair super long. And I was like, I want that to be Ferris. I want her to be absolutely covered in that shit. I just want to go the full rocker aesthetic for her. So probably also had occasionally worked at Sylvie's record store to pay whatever 90s art school tuition was like, or early 2000s, whatever the time period would have been. Probably a lot more affordable than now.
In several decades, when the world unfortunately loses one Sylvie Martinez, everything is left to Ferris.
Oh my god.
Everything.
Yes.
She would run it with every fiber in her being. She would not let it die because that would be a disservice to Sylvie.
She doesn't leave instructions to keep the bits, but just the stock, everything. Her weird eclectic house. Like there's like
Ferris can't
priceless
do
shit.
math?
No, there's like priceless shit in there. Like that was like, when did you get this? How long have you owned this? And why didn't you sell it? Like really weird. Yeah, like everything she's ever owned.
A bunch of first editions.
Yeah,
Oh,
all
don't
of
let
it. Some
anyone
things
stop
maybe
you.
that were
Yeah, I
like
just saw
gained
that.
via questionable means. Like, was this woman a career criminal? You don't know by looking at the things.
Did
in
she
her home.
commit tax fraud? We don't know.
But everything, she leaves all of it to Ferris.
Oh yeah, she'd probably live in that place.
I have this great scene of like Ferris like fighting with somebody who comes in who wants to like do development, and Ferris just like absolutely not, and just like fighting with.
If Ferris ends up back in Boulder, Beaker's asking her out on a date.
Wow! Wow!
Whoa! Hell yeah!
The ship is real.
Yeah.
How did we get here?
I was just thinking about how interesting that would have been, like them growing up, like best friends and stuff like that, and then and Ferris having been gone for years doing film stuff, and then coming back to Boulder to
With
basically
tattoos.
take over. Yeah, like basically
and a film degree.
Yeah, like coming back to take over Sylvie's record store, and like Beaker at that point being like, you know what? Fuck it, and just
I support it. I support Ferris chasing bliss wherever
your
it may
childhood best friend comes back as an Oscar winning like director filmmaker. Do they? I don't fucking know any of this.
I think that they would start in the crew because they would be like too paranoid to immediately try to go into like screenwriting and production, since it's sort of easier to work your way up through the dregs.
Yeah.
The goal would be probably to produce a kids on bike genre movie about their adventures, since I specifically put in that screenplay for a situation like that. It would just take some time to get there, but yeah, probably won like awards for working on things.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
what a dream! Ooh.
I love 2 decades later, you come back and you find your childhood friends still living there. I love that.
I'm noticing a trend with me. Oops.
Oh,
that's 2 for 2.
Our last Kids on Bikes, not quite Kids on Bikes, but
not quite.
Me and Saving the World, we had a very similar plot line that ended up post campaign.
We left it on the simmer pot for like 15 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of flavor.
It's a great trope. I adore it.
A little bit of aging. A little bit of flavor.
I love that. I adore all of that.
The slowest
does Ferris say yes?
Oh.
Well, yeah. I mean, Ferris would have to just play like Ferris's sort of like passive yes man. Like, I'll try anything once. Like, there's only one way to find out how it's going to go, and it's to do it. So.
I love that.
Okay, follow up. How do you think it goes?
Oh my god. Okay, well,
we need to know.
Who's setting this up? Like, where are they going? What kind of date is it?
Oh, I think that Beaker would likely start off with like the old hits of taking Ferris around like their old haunts first, and like sneaking them into a movie.
Yeah.
Aw, see, that would be good to not specifically pay for the movie tickets. That would be a big win. That would be a success.
So it's like they sneak them into a movie, and then like take them to the graveyard, and like they find the duck, like, you know, things like that. It's like it's a trip down memory lane with a twist, because like it's Beaker who's encouraging all the bad behavior.
Yeah, what a change of pace. Finally, someone Ferris doesn't have to make the questionable decisions here.
No, it's literally because being like, let's go.
Yes.
I think that is a perfect date.
Yeah, and then it probably ends like in a like some field in the middle of nowhere, like, you know, probably with like a bottle of wine and just talking.
Stargazing on the clear desert sky in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the night.
The romance of gnats. in the desert.
Oh, I love that. Where you did not set up your dads. you
Yeah.
born in adulthood.
It
Yes,
was
that's
a
it.
ruse.
That, like, yeah, well, I mean, like, setting up the dads was not exactly a case of setting up the dads.
Oh, I know.
More
I know.
just
Yeah.
like get these
Could
two
you
men to
imagine?
have like an actual social life.
Give
with
them support
us,
system
like,
Yeah.
who are not their children.
yes, exactly.
I feel like Ferris's dad would be similar to my mom in that she is like, well, a little early into her early 40s, and she only has like one best friend, which is quite the improvement, because when I was a kid, she was like, no, I'm too tired to have friends. I was like, Mom.
Man, I'm right there with. I'm joking.
I mean, now in my 20s, I'm like 25, and I'm like, okay, hang on. She had some points.
Having friends is exhausting.
Being a person is exhausting. Have you tried
Oh,
it recently?
I
What,
stopped
in this
after a while because it was just too much. It was
In
getting too
this-
much.
I want to
In
know.
this pandemic?
I want to know what ended up happening with Zach. What
Yeah.
did Zach
I really-
Yeah.
Yeah, we got sidetracked.
sidetracked by shipping? Ah.
It's okay.
Classic.
That's fine.
With
I
this
enjoyed
crew,
it. That's,
utterly unsurprised.
that's good. I think either or. I'm still undecided, but Zach probably becoming like this is gonna sound crazy saying it out loud,
Good.
but like
Do
a
it.
like psychic consultant for the FBI.
Yes!
Yes!
Mentalist, yeah.
Yes!
for like all the weird like cases that they can't solve or some shit, and then he's
Oh,
like
God,
the
yeah, I
one that they
love
like,
that.
bring in and like tries to like solve it and talking to like real ghosts, and like because he doesn't have to be in the loop anymore, he figures there's weird shit elsewhere that like he can go look at and try to explore. So gonna go see anything that he can and getting an in with the government agency to see what they're hiding, but also like still help and find stuff.
Oh my God, I love
You
that. I
think
love
it
that
ever
it's actually real. Like you're legitimately like you're talking to actual ghosts.
I hope you know that Ferris probably gives Zach like a weekly phone call about his job and how he's talking to real ghosts and how he's cracking all of these mysteries, and when is Ferris going to get some actual proof in the mail that these
Mail me a
ghosts
ghost.
exist? Like,
Oh, and the fact
there's
that
a
he's like,
score to settle, and so far, Ferris has more evidence of there
Ferris.
being aliens
That was
and shit in
Beacon, Ferris. I
space
just
than
the
Zach has
fact that
brought to the
Zach-
table.
yeah, and the fact that Zach is working for the FBI right now and is still denying the existence of aliens.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would
Like an
like
FBI agent's like, yeah, we have an alien back in Area 51. You're like, nah. I'm sorry, Agent
Nah.
Smith. I don't believe you.
In 20.
they would
Yeah.
demand to be notified the second that you hear about an alien touching down. Like they would be like, you need to tell me. I will buy tickets. I will be there immediately.
Like in
You're sneaking in.
2020, the Pentagon comes out being like, all right, listen, not only do they exist, but also we've been like talking to them on and off. And meanwhile, Zach's like, nope, didn't happen.
He'll play it off like it was my job to deny that it ever happened. Like,
Of course I couldn't tell you.
Does his job, does it ever take him back to Boulder City?
probably that they like there's probably other weird things that leak out from time to time, and he always like traces it back, and then it's
Yeah.
like, oh, of course, where else?
Where else, of course, yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure there have been a couple of awkward phone calls between Beaker and Zach, just like, oh, nothing's going on.
Okay, did you like there's like a thing like a really weird energy mass, and it was like leaving just a straight trail all the way back to Boulder City. You know anything about that before I come over there and look at it myself?
Does he wear a suit?
Yes, he does.
Yes.
You ever see a grown FBI agent get wedgied? Because that's the first thing Ferris would do upon him touching down. No respect. Don't matter if it's in public.
Oh my god.
That's my
Actually, better if it's in public. Let the world see.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, you encounter a lot of cases in which like there are a few that you know immediately. You're like, don't even, just close the case immediately. You're not going to get any information out of this. Like, I know where it came from. I know the cause of it, and they're not going to talk to you. Let's move on. And there are some that inevitably you chase for a while, and it gets you closer and closer, and then suddenly you're like, fuck, not again. And it's Boulder City Loop.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that idea.
Beaker's just like,
yeah, like Beaker's probably like chasing down some other interdimensional being that just busted through the portal and like runs into the building that they know it ran into, and then on the other side you see Zach running in because he's been following the same trail.
hi, Zach. I wasn't expected to see you here today.
I just like one of those scenes where it's like, yeah, this weird got some weird stuff kind of like leading us there. Know anything about that? Beaker just sort of like looks sideways where there's like in progress a breach happening like at that moment. Like, nope.
I love the idea of a like Beaker and Zach off both records, like buddy cop, like kind of like this duo who has to go like flying under the FBI, going above like Loop security and trying to like do something real quick, like, okay, we gotta handle this because if either finds out, it's gonna be bad news. I think that's very fun.
I have a follow-up question for Remy, which is, does Zach, because you know like sometimes they have this kind of thing for like with like mediums and whatever, like they have like does Zach ever consult on a TV show?
Oh.
I think he would, but like not, but probably like not a whole lot. Like he's under like FBI NDA like kind of thing, so he can't talk about a whole lot. But if like enough, like he keeps running into the same people, like hunting Bigfoot out in like the Rockies, like too much or something. When he's like, Bigfoot's real, I know where he is, and I gotta just pretend
I got his address.
I got his address, and I gotta just pretend like I don't know him. And so like eventually they see him enough that they have to bring him on to a show, and like he has to just lie out his teeth, and like
yes!
Ferris is there watching like his TV debut, and like it's like I know what's going on here.
Does he ever go on to like make anything, like write a memoir, like any sort of like anything that, or is it just strictly like I'm just living in this world now?
I don't think he writes it. I think he's just like living for it, and the fact that he exists is enough of a record for everything.
Does he do a podcast?
Yes. Probably eventually.
Or even just like his own like files that never get released until after
he
like,
pretends it's a podcast.
Yeah, or just like all of his like records where he like talks to himself, and then inevitably like long like years and years after he's gone, like decades in the future, someone uncovers and it's like, this is what a weird audio drama. Like,
oh gosh,
I love that.
Well, I know we had another question a while ago, which was a question about, which we kind of got to a little bit of this, but I just wanted to bring it up just in case there was anything else specifically that you wanted to talk about, which was how much did y'all know about each other's characters when the show started?
I mean, I think we knew a decent amount. I don't think there was any, because with a four session campaign, there's like series, not really much like opportunity to like suddenly reveal very hidden stuff about like specifically about characters. So I think we knew pretty decent amount about each other. Yeah, at least I know my character. I just told everyone about everything about my character for sure. There was no secrets about mine. Yeah,
I'd agree. We didn't really have time to keep secrets from each other, so I think we were all pretty transparent about our character, their motivations, like the kind of life they had.
Yeah, we had like general, everyone's like personality characteristics very vaguely, since we had to pick out like roles like the rock or the jock or the weirdo right away. Beforehand though, I did actually write like some little short drabbles or whatever that were basically like how Ferris knew everyone. I wanted to do those before we started streaming just so that I would have like a general idea of how she interacts with everyone.
Oh shoot, that's actually a really great thing that we could probably talk about, that the audience has no idea like about. It's like the first time, like we like the reasons why like you knew everybody in the first kind of real interactions that you had with them. It's just like, tell us more, tell me more, tell me more, tell me more.
Let's see, what did I write for runs? It was a while ago. I think Ferris and Zax, I wrote about them meeting each other because they were both looting in the same dumpster. And I wrote it so that Zach had come upon Ferris, and they like argued about who had the right to be in this dumpster after hours. Like, is this? I can't remember what line I specifically put, but I
You're
think
not
Ferris...
supposed to be here. Like, you're not supposed to be here either.
Yeah, something like that. Like, is this your dumpster? That was the situation for them to get sort of the humor and the banter and the constant negging across. And then with Ferris and TJ, I think it was like the first time that TJ would be introduced to Ferris as like not exactly their babysitter, but more so as someone to check in on them over the weekend if their dad was out of town for trips, which I think in the original tone of it, which I don't think I actually sent it to Drac yet, she was super annoyed about it, like, I'm not a baby or whatever, but it was more so done on like their dad's part as like you don't have to be alone for the weekend, basically, kind of thing, like some company, basically paying for some company for the weekend. And I think it was like just a conversation where Ferris tries to get Zach to like just take the money and leave. Like, you can just have the however much, or TJ, sorry, you can just have however much money that you want, and you can just go. Like, go do something fun. I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want. And he's basically like, well, your dad said I should, so I think I'm gonna. And her just dealing with it. And I think with I'm like scrambling names up so much right now. Ferris and Beaker. With Ferris and Beaker, it was Beaker was getting teased on the same bus ride home. And what I really wanted to note about Ferris is that they're not like the hero type. They're not someone who's going like they're not a TJ. TJ's like the golden boy archetype, you know, someone who's going to fight for the sake of doing what's right. Ferris is a bit of a rat. Ferris will do things for good, but like not at an immediate consequence to themselves. So the way that they dealt with the situation was like falsely calling attention to something outside while these two bullies were fucking with Beaker. And when they turn around to look the other way, Ferris has like a soda can that's in their backpack that they shake up, and then they open it and throw in that direction so that they're like both soaked, but they don't know where it came from. And then they immediately hop seats. And they're like, I think they sit next to offer the seat to Beaker or something, so that way they don't have to deal with it. But it was both to like establish the meeting and establish that if Beaker can figure out a way to get two idiots to fight and think it was like some other kid or the other person even, then that's way better than like throwing your own neck on the cutting board.
I got to read all of them, and they're all so cute.
Pretty rad. I enjoyed reading the one for us.
Yeah, we definitely, I had asked all of them to, even if, because we had asked at the beginning, I was like, do you guys want to be an established friend group, or do you want to be new to each other? And we ended up doing, they would come together. So that meant I was like, okay, well then all of you need to know each other somehow. Even if you're not an established group, you need to have some one line of connection, even if it isn't like best friends forever. So we had like rode the same bus, lived in the same neighborhood, and like parents worked together, and then we had the two duos, which ended up working out really well. I didn't know we were going to end up with that, but when y'all did, I was like, oh, this makes my job so much easier. It's so much easier to bring two duos together than it is to have to bring four people together. So that it ended up being fun. And the two like dynamics were so funny, so good, and like getting to like craft a scenario in which all four of you were going to be in the same place worked out perfectly. Like, we have the two junkers, and then we have two people who like to LARP. Like, what better place for all of that to happen than a big junkyard? Like, it was so good. So everyone kind of gave, there might have been some things that weren't totally shared, but like I think for the most part it was like, what would people in your school know about you? No matter, like, and that was, we made sure that everyone kind of knew that. And then there were some things that were shared a little bit further below the surface, but like for the most part, there's a bunch of tweens. There isn't like a tragic back, like total, like my village was burned down by a red dragon. Like, like, so it like, they're a bunch of tweens. So it was fun. It was good to to like get all of that up and get everyone set up and like see how they wanted to form their bonds. And I loved that. It's so much fun playing a bunch of like I love to play tweens. It's fun to play kids, but like also getting to watch you guys play a bunch of kids, like, oh, it was so fun. Also, I didn't get the chance to say this earlier, but the knowing y'all, from what some of you I know better than others, but like, and then having you bring your characters to me and like being able to see parts of you in your characters, either by just things I know about you or you telling me this is derived similarly from much, and I loved that. Like, it was really cool. Like, on one hand, like playing a short game, being able to like draw from yourself, playing any game, being able to draw from yourself is great, but like, I don't know, it was just so cool being able to like see you guys be like, oh, like I kind of know what to expect because I know these characters, and I know that I can recognize the pieces of I can recognize the pieces of my players like in their characters, and I think that's so cool in any game, but like particularly with this, it was just really cool to see and like hear how much of yourself you guys put into the characters. I loved that.
Can you hear him?
Wait, I don't know why I'm leaning into my screen.
Yeah, I'm gonna lean into my
This is Zoe.
Aww.
Came to say hello.
Cute. Hello, kitty.
Baby. Yeah, you heard that. Yeah.
I realized.
Sorry, we have been derailed by.
Oh
Kat.
no, that's fine. We have just so that for chat's edification, we have a document that's just sort of like general, like for anybody who like comes on in any extended period on Rule of Floors programming. We have like a quick document of like here's just some like general things to know and like basic guidelines for appearing on this. One of the items that John put on there was that I believe the wording is something to the effect of, if you have pets, you are legally obligated to show them to us on stream. You're not, but we still want to see them. I think that one was in there. It was definitely in the meeting that we had prior, like when the one that I sat in on, that was definitely an item that we spent some time discussing, and immediately I think Aki got up and grabbed a cat and like came back. As soon as they saw that, Aki just got up, grabbed a cat, and came back and was like, hey.
There are 3 in this house. So, oh my goodness. Hello, sweet boy.
Alex succeeded, I think, every stream in showing off dogs.
Yep. Very true. It was
They're my precious little babies.
It was a bit like, Goodnight Moon, right? Like when I was a little kid, I would always try to find the mouse on every page. It was like that, but with your dogs. It was. Where are they today? All right.
I really loved
that
every
one
time
day
she
where
would like jump up. Oh yeah. She's got her monthlies. I mean, her monthlies for dogs. Yeah. She's out of control. She's not in the room right now.
Like, was it last week that she was like hopping all over? Yeah.
I didn't notice, and then when Aki pointed it out, I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Just like, well.
It was a month-long show.
It was bound to happen.
Yeah, something was bound to happen.
I actually realized, by the way, that there was in fact another question from early on, that was asked earlier, and I almost forgot, but I went back and saw it, which is also from Gemini Lightning, which is, when 3rd edition comes out in 2003, what class does your kid play and who DMs?
Oh.
3rd edition? Wait.
D&D.
D&D.
Oh, D&D.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like this is an easy answer.
TJ is a murder hobo.
What?
He's a murder hobo for sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
Hold on.
TJ's a murder hobo.
How old are you all in 2003?
Sure.
That's
about
19 years later.
Yeah.
Math?
So plus 20 minus 1.
Math?
Yeah.
33?
I think he would be a murder hobo.
Oh my god.
I think he's good at role playing, but I think he enjoys being like the fighter or the barbarian.
Does he have
that does
some tension he needs to get out?
No, I don't think it's not that he has tension. I think it's that it's make believe. Like, you saw TJ was terrified in most circumstances, but in that game he can be like the hulking, raging barbarian.
Oh my god.
that just punches his problems away.
That's so funny.
It's like Conan the Barbarian, like that scene where he just punches a camel for no reason.
Yeah.
It's like,
wait, what?
this is a real
Wait,
thing.
what?
Have you not seen? Okay, you need to. It's great for if for no other reason than that scene in particular. It's just
Wow.
okay.
Oh my
Geek Outs is
God.
in chat over here trying to justify camel punching. So that's the part of the stream we've gotten to right now.
I think Ferris would be absolutely horrified by Murder Hobo TJ as a rogue who would want to do everything by, like, I don't know, not immediately charging and killing everything. Oh my god.
Yeah, Ferris is definitely the rogue. We've got the barbarian or fighter over here with TJ. We've got the rogue with Ferris. I feel like I know what Remy's gonna say for Zach.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm like having a hard time deciding, but like
definitely a caster of some kind.
some kind of caster.
Nerd.
Maybe I just like casters.
You
a
gonna
lot.
cast a little hocus pocus at me? You gonna throw a little magic my way?
I think you'd want to be a bard. That'd be fun.
Oh, that would be good.
Wow. Wow. You? A sneaky bard? I've never heard of that before.
Shocking.
No,
See, were there
Definitely.
psionics in 3rd edition? Like,
Eventually, yeah.
I think that Beaker would probably end up going for like a ranger or something like that.
Noble.
Is anyone the chronic DM or do you rotate?
Oh, I think I get actually.
I feel like if they rotate, it's a little bit chaotic every single time between their
Yeah.
4 different styles. I feel like Ferris is probably, I mean, maybe this is because I am. Ferris is probably persnickety enough to also want to coordinate the music and make sure that the mood is right. It has to be appropriate. I'm a huge fucking stickler for music in D&D. Like, doing the loop without it was like nails in my thigh, man. I need my music.
I'm so sad that I couldn't get you guys music. Zoom
Gotta
wrecked it.
set the mood. Gotta get immersed. It's important. She would be
Well,
very.
TJ's DMs. So the thing is, when I said murder hobo, he's still role plays, but he role plays a murder hobo. So and there's still great scenes. No, there's still great scenes. There's still like good role play from his part, but like he also just plays the character where it's like I can't talk you out of this, so I'm gonna punch you out of it.
Like Hulk the Destroyer.
But yeah, but when he actually DMs, I think he'd be a lot better than I am as a GM. I think I think it'd be like a very descriptive. I think it's all about like the scenes. I think he's really good with describing like senses. I think he probably like really leans into that. He probably gets it from his mom. Yeah.
Adopts the GM style of the moms. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I have a feeling Beaker is the puzzles and like heavy RP
Yes.
GM. Like it's like we get into really heavy RP and we do puzzles. That's what we do.
Cute.
I think Zach's would be he's the weirdo. It'd be the weird style of
Yeah.
DMing where he'd pull it like ARG style, where he'd like make people research stuff outside of like the campaign or something to like figure something out, or like give them like basically D&D homework to like figure something out before coming next time, or like do your own like I'm going off of like this kind, like they're hunting a monster. You can go find out shit about this monster that is just out there. Go do it and you'll know.
Love that.
He was like slowly indirectly teaching us about cryptids.
Like every time we walk out of that game, we're like, you know what he's doing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, but he's happy when he does it.
So well, like they do it just to humor Zach because they love Zach. So
There's this really good Key and Peele short about D&D where like they're all sat down to play, and I think the DM's cousin or something shows up, and every time they try to do something in the very traditional setting, the cousin always interrupts like, nah, I wanna go shoot a guy with a gun, and then I wanna go find a lady with like big boobs, and then we're gonna go listen to like 50 Cent or something. And he's like, 50 Cent, none of that stuff exists in this universe. And he keeps going. And I'm like, you know what? That's how Ferris would probably have to play Zach's game. Like, no, I have a gun now and I'm going to shoot it. No, you don't. No, I had it in my pocket this whole time. So you can't say no.
Zach wouldn't say no to Ferris.
I rolled a
about
check.
that kind
I
of
got a
thing.
gun check, you know.
You know she would do something unreasonable and obtuse just for the sake of being purposefully obtuse, because what else is she going to do in an ARG campaign like that but be purposefully obtuse?
I feel like Zach would 100% enable Ferris in that. Like, right? I feel like the two of them
It
have
would be
like
a never-ending game of
I
like
think
chicken.
they have like a one, like, oh, okay, yeah, you do that. like I feel like they have like the one-upsmanship, like, yeah, sure, go for it.
How are you going to use the gun? It's going to make a noise. You're going to alert everyone to your position.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to use that gun right now?
Actually, I brought the silencer with me. If you would let me finish, it was in my bag of holding that also has bullets. So,
When did you buy that silencer? You better take that gold out of like your
when I
total
was
right now.
running errands and I stole it, I don't buy bullets. They're free.
Oh god, and Beacon teachers will be like, we don't know what's going on.
I think at this point, Beaker, like, oh man, Beaker probably smokes so much weed.
2000.
Yo, is that allowed? Is that allowed?
It's 2003. You're all in your early 30s, late 20s. It's from Zach and Ferris slowly raising their volume at the table, coming up with increasingly more ridiculous gamings. Beaker whips out.
Just like,
How could
Oh
this
my
happen?
God.
There it didn't work.
Our next cubing is the year is 2003.
You have to roll a skill to roll a joint, and it has to be like at least 3 6s.
Like it's just like the camera's been slowly zooming in on these two, like doubling down over and over and over, and then you just hear like a lighter click from off screen, smash cut to Beaker.
Oh god.
pulling a big, and they were always the snacks person in the group too. They just
Yeah, oh my god. You got munchies.
We got some edibles with them. Like,
Oh god, it's great.
like they every now and again they'll bring a tray of brownies.
Okay, a tray. That's expensive.
A tray of brownies for the France.
I guess the Loop pays good.
The Loop must
Right.
Pay
good.
good. It better pay good.
Actually, they do, yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I always wrote Ferris living in like a shitty little 2-bedroom apartment with their dad. So
Well, I will say
Maybe-
Ferris's dad is not a scientist at the Loop, so.
Oh,
Oh no, gotta have one.
I mean, I guess it's a flattering freeze frame.
It is very nice.
Yeah.
They look good.
Oh my gosh.
Oh wait, I want to. I was quickly going to go back to that though. Not that specifically, because TJ wouldn't smoke, mainly because I'm pretty sure like athletes get tested fairly frequently. I don't know if like
Yeah,
the
you'd
read in
have
the
trouble
system
with
would
that
be
one, yeah.
yeah. But I'm just trying to think because I love the idea that everyone gets kind of pulled back into the weird mystery idea of Boulder City, and I'm trying to figure out how TJ would get pulled back in. You're back.
Hello.
I don't know. I guess Zoom just likes to crash sometimes.
There's got to be one every week.
Yeah.
Yeah. The loopy just cursed.
I mean,
I think it is, and that's why my mic never started working.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you're still using like a webcam, I can't.
I know. Yeah. Fuck Windows 10, man. Oh.
But TJ, I think your moms are settled there. Like, if you ever come
That's
back,
true.
the family's
Yeah, I
there.
probably would visit. Yeah.
Mama's boy gotta come back for the moms.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, he would be
All of
like,
you.
Mom, can I come over, please? Like, it's getting really stressful here. I'm the captain, I know, but like, oh my god.
I do want to say that me, John, and Lucas all at the exact same moment saw in chat. This is backtracking a little bit.
Yeah.
but Patty DMs was a message that was sent to
Yes.
and literally all three of us are like,
the same,
oh.
like at the same time. All of us in our
Yeah. Oh god.
Where did I think Aki already meant answers. I can't remember if it's off stream if we talked about it. But would Beaker tell Patty about the weird adventure that we had?
Honestly, I think at some point Patty kind of ends up joining the group for some reason or the other.
Inevitably,
Like it's very likely that we actually catch Patty in the shit or something, and like no, and then we're like, how did you end up getting into all of this? And she's
like somehow it goes under all of our radar, and it's like Patty and like her friends kind of get involved, and we find out like afterwards. So, like we're like we found out really late, and we're like, wait a second.
Yes, I love that y'all are like investigating the same shit and like rounding a corner and like hey you like.
And Patty's like sneaking out, and Beaker's both sneaking out, and they're given like both lying to each other about why they're sneaking out, but it ends up being for the same reason.
The only reason that Patty wasn't involved, Patty was so little that I was nervous about involving her in any way, and that is why that Mr. Cash Michaels was able to not be locked in the loop, because I didn't want you to have to leave a 6-year-old home alone. I will full transparency that I didn't want you to have to worry about bringing a 6-year-old into this, because like having a bunch of tweens is like, that's the show that you're watching, like that's like a Stranger Things, that's the Goonies, like whatever, but like she's 5, 6 years old.
She was baby. She was actual baby.
But yeah, she Cash got to stay out of the loop so that you wouldn't have to worry about leaving Patty alone.
I just saw this, and I'm not sure if this was just speculation or if it was like an actual, like intended as an actual like question for the group, but I'm going to ask it as a question for the group, which is, what would Patty's group's clubhouse be?
I guess there's a
what
question
fits
more
the stuck
for
truck?
Aki.
That would be funny. I love that.
I had fun with that stuck truck.
That was great. I loved when y'all
that's a fun idea.
When you're like, I want this to exist. I was like, yes, it fucking does. Yes. Feel like maybe Patty's group is a little bit more like established on purpose friend group, and so like their clubhouse is probably like like an actual clubhouse in like someone's backyard.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah,
or someone's basement, like a family, like, because that can be that in the game, like someone's like living room can be your clubhouse because that's where your meeting point. We went and lived in a duck, but you know.
Yes, we did.
It's weird. Awesome. You're in a big duck. One of my favorite ways I've ever started a game.
Like I could be wrong, but like I feel like Patty is the type of kid who like either she or one of her friends has like a tree house or like one of those like kind of playhouses that are in the backyard, you know, like one of those kinds of things. Like,
oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I love that. I would love if it was like a gaggle, like 2 or 3 of them meeting up with the 4 of you, like in your like later teens adventure when they're like the age you guys were when you had your adventures. That's cool.
It's an all girls group. Yeah, it's like 2 or 3 girls.
Just fully imagining like any one of them like coming to like you to the duck at one point, like, this is where you guys hang out. Like,
they were just like super defensive. I'm like, yeah, it is where we hang out. It's pretty cool, actually.
Oh man, I'm trying to find.
You can get away with so much shit out here.
Would love like a Parker Sullivan has a young kid who ends up being good friends with Patty, like. And I'm trying to think of someone else in town, maybe unrelated to your stories, but I love that Parker Sullivan becoming like a mentor figure for like the entire Michael's household.
Yeah, they're there a lot. Always doing research. Every now and again, whenever I would imagine that even up through adulthood, that whenever Beaker would find an interesting book back in like the occultism section, they'd like either take a picture of it and send it to Zach, being like, "Hey, do you have this book?" And at this point, Zach either has to purposefully lie and say that he does, or admit that he doesn't because Beaker will buy it. Send it to him.
Send it to him. Good.
All right.
Oh man.
I think because we're sort of starting to, I think we're kind of starting to wind down a little bit here, but I just saw another question pop into chat.
I do have one too, if you can be a
Sure.
the chat group. I do have one for the group, but
absolutely.
Can wait till
We'll end on yours. And this is a question from chat just now, which is, what fantasy and/or science fiction books would Beaker recommend?
Okay, so the Never-Ending Story,
yes,
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
I think they probably also, as they got older, they would have recommended the Uglies series to people. Let's see what else. Oh, there's so many good ones. There's so many. I'm blanking because there are so many really good ones. They probably would have pointed out actually a few novelizations of like films and stuff like that, like here and there. It'd be like Jurassic Park. Michael Crichton probably would have been like, they probably would have been a huge fan, but also super critical, like hypercritical of the science. Like, yes. I love these books, but also the science is whack. Just like, don't read it for the science. They probably actually would have really, really loved Timeline. Timeline would have been one of their favorite books. Let's see. They probably would have recommended books like Ender's Game and things like that, with the caveat that, you know, these are written by assholes. Don't pay any attention to their authors. They probably made the mistake of reading a couple of Ayn Rand books and being like, why did I do that to myself? But yeah, like, I think that they probably also would have, like, especially if it were somebody much younger approaching them about it, they would have like pointed them like towards Star Wars and things like that. Just be like, just read all of these.
Yes.
But yeah, definitely the Never-Ending Story. That probably would have been the one they always like recommended first.
I could 100% see that.
I think that was the book that they were reading in their opening scene, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Good. Oh man.
All right, Caitlin, you have
I do.
Yeah.
So this is just like out of me curiosity. A lot of weird shit happened to all of your kids in the story. What are, like, did you have any theories, like wild theories that either came or didn't come to fruition? I was really curious because I know some of you are very theory crafting. And I didn't know if anything you were right about any of your like early predictions, or if there was anything that you were like, oh wow, that did not go anywhere I thought it was going. I was curious, either you or your characters. Same word can be the same or the different answers.
For one, I definitely didn't expect it to be an interdimensional being, for sure. I thought it was going to be firmly grounded in our universe. So that definitely took me by surprise. I honestly thought it was just something, I thought we were going to, like, I knew we were going to eventually break into the loop, but I thought it was some kind of like corporate sabotage or something like that. I thought we were going to be like busting some enemy of the people run darts, and they were trying to like sabotage the loop, and we were going to try and stop them. I thought it was something like very not grounded, because that's not grounded at all, but compared to interdimensional beings, I guess it's pretty grounded.
I love it. That's fun.
Like, I don't play a lot of like sci-fi games, so it was really hard for me to like kind of end up like theorizing about any of the stuff. But like, one thing that, like, I mentioned this kind of off stream, but this like the story reminded me of, like, kind of started leading in the direction of like a book I read as a kid called like The Boggart, and
yes, that's right.
like yeah, and like it's about a ghost that gets trapped at like an Irish ghost that gets trapped in a desk that goes to America, and then they email the ghost back to Ireland in the end, and that like it really, like, figuring out how like they ended up communicating with the ghost also was through a computer, and like and so all of that stuff kind of like really lined up of like I was like leading, I guess, more in like thinking about that as like kind of things were brought up that way, but then at that point there weren't really any theories left to craft.
Yeah.
I usually tend to be like super, like I've always kind of been sort of a corkboard specialist when it comes to like RPG lore and stuff like that. I actually found myself not really doing much of that for this. not because it's not something I don't enjoy doing, but mostly because I kind of let myself like be led by you through the story. And like, I was just so in love with everything that you were doing. I didn't feel the need to like read into it a whole bunch. Like, I just really wanted to go on the adventure you were taking us on.
I love that.
That being said, I've spent a lot of time imagining what the interdimensional beings universe is like. Like,
cool.
just like, what is it like? Like, I think that was honestly the most imaginative I got to allow Beaker to be, was like asking those questions. Is being like, what is it like where you're from? Like what does your universe like how does it manifest? Like I was just so excited to kind of like let my imagination run wild about that one thing, because it was the one thing that we weren't really going to be able to access that I was curious about. So.
Y'all fed me some great shit in the last 15 minutes of that episode. Oh, you're killing me. You gave me the best. Oh, you gave me such good stuff to work with.
It's my headcanon that we punched into the Infinite Horizon universe.
Oh yeah, I love. We talked about that afterwards.
That's my headcanon.
So this creature needs to exist in
rule of law connected universe, guys.
Yeah,
well, ambitious crossover.
Coming in 2023, the rule of law extended universe.
Multiverse.
Jesus.
As far as I'm concerned, with Ferris, Caitlin, you're already aware since you get to play an NPC on Wacky Ribbons, which I DM, but I'm usually like really clocked in a lot of ways when I DM, and I have my thumbs kind of tracking a lot of different plot lines. So when I get a chance to actually play in a campaign, I realize that when I'm DMing, I want my players to like be engaged and sort of thinking about what's next, but I don't want it to be like so overwhelming that like they say what I'm gonna do before I can even do it, you know? You still want the chance as the DM to actually get the drop. You don't want your players to get like so ahead of the game they totally know everything you're going to do and they've like cracked the code. So what I liked doing was being passive enough that I wasn't actively trying to think of what you're going to throw at me next, but also staying present so that every time you were throwing something at me, I could react to it in the moment without letting myself get carted away thinking about a million other things that could be happening and why this was all happening with the arch. And I could just focus on like reacting on whatever was in front of me rather than trying to anticipate what was coming and trusting that you as the DM, if we weren't making the sort of progression that we should be, you would nudge us in the appropriate direction without having to necessarily hold our hands.
Y'all
also, I love to be head empty.
Yes. Empty. Y'all made all of it so like unbearably fun. Like I just every single episode y'all surprised me with things. And I talked to Lucas and John about this, and I feel like this is not a thing I should admit. I am not a pantser. I am the opposite, fully opposite of a pantsing GM. I need to have so much shit planned out, like not necessarily scene by scene, because then like you get thrown off if you don't have it exactly, but like I need so much notes for myself. For this 4-episode, Lucas is already laughing at me. For this 4-episode game, I have 26 pages of notes.
Whoa.
And y'all got all of it. Like literally, like there was shit, there were things that like you had the chance to miss. Like there was stuff that like existed in the world for you to find. And like I said, like I looked up like EMPs and stuff to have that research available in case you looked up electromagnetism, which you did. Like there was so much stuff that like I wanted to be able to give you correct answers for. And I needed to make sure I had it. Because like if I get too pulled out of the DM space, I get panicky, and so I was like, I want to make sure I have all this. So I have 26 pages of notes, and y'all unlocked like all of it. It's incredible, like how just I don't know, intuitive all of you were with how like with the world. And I didn't know like for the 3rd episode there was a lot of lore to be gained. Like I told y'all before, I was like, there's a lot you can learn. It just depends on what you want to find and where you want to go to find it. And I was like, there's a library in town. Like if they asked like whatever, I didn't really know, but y'all ended up splitting up, and I was like, whoa, I didn't know that was gonna happen. And it was literally perfect. Like going to the bookstore to like get attention, and then leaving to go get the key with the actual key. And then you, while you're in the bookstore, you got to get all of the lore. You asked all the right questions. I don't know if there was anything that I didn't get to tell you. Like you guys asked things that like I didn't even think of, and I had to make some stuff up on the spot, which wasn't bad because that's just how DMing works. But it was just, y'all were so intuitive and so smart and so creative, like with your kids, and just so good. So many fun lines, so many fun scenes, just in the way that y'all like set everything up was just so good. It was so fun. And like I think I told all of you, I don't know if I said it on stream, but there was a chance you weren't gonna get Hal's notebook, which I was so clearly ever it was on stream. I was so excited that you did because I had so much information available to you, and y'all played that scene perfectly. Like I had no idea how you were gonna get it, but that was just immaculate. Oh, it was so good. Anyways, I just wanted to rave about my players. Y'all just you made it amazing. You let me use my neurotic DMing style. Like all of it got put to use. Like it was so good. Literally, there are music cues in my notes. Like that's the type of DMing. Someone could take this and run it. Like that's there's a lot of stuff that's very particular to you guys and your NPCs, but like outside of that, like some of it is maybe not exactly specific to the world that was made in the books, but like y'all were just so delightful to play with. This was such a fun game. You made it so fun. We got to go through like literally everything. You surprised me. Like I also, some things I was expecting, but you still surprised me when you did things I was expecting. Anyways, I just wanted to say how much fun this was and that y'all were so amazing. Just absolutely the best experience I could have had DMing on stream for the first time. You made it so good.
It was a ton of fun playing the game DM'd by you.
Yeah.
It was honestly great. It was amazing.
You did a good job.
Thanks.
You made every scene a joy to play.
Oh, glad.
I talked about it recently with some friends of mine. I usually leave streams very drained. Not because it's like a bad stream, but it just like I guess I have to force some like feelings and emotions into my character sometimes. But like after your streams, everything I felt was very genuine. Like I was very much in TJ skin, and after the streams, I was just as energized and excited for the next game as I was right before. It was honestly a very strange feeling. It was the first. So I was like, wow, okay, so this is what a fun game feels like.
And thank you for giving. Yeah, and thank you for giving us like just an incredible opportunity, not just to work with you, but to work with each other. Because for some of us have worked with each other before, but some of us have never met, never worked with each other before. And this was a good group. This was a lot of fun.
I was very nervous, but when I met you guys, you were awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know if we ever said it on stream or if it was just a behind the scenes thing that we said, but literally this was the top choice for this year. Once we were finally like deciding on like who finally were like, this is it. Oh my God, can you imagine this group playing together? Holy shit. And then when all of you said yes, I was like, oh my God, you guys, they all said yes. Like, this is going to be so good. This is good. Yeah, like, I'm just so excited to see all of you play together. And I'm so glad you clicked. Like, it was just, you were so good. You're so amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a lot of people know this, but I've only ever played with you once before, Caitlin. And John and Lucas as well had the chance to play with you guys too. Yeah. So I was just really like surprised and honored to be asked to come and join, because I was like, we've literally only ever played one game together. So it's like, cool, yeah, I'll come hang out.
Yeah, I will say for
that Weave game was so fun.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
From this end, I do want to I'm glad Caitlin kind of beat me to the punch, but like I feel like Caitlin kind of earned this one a bit more than I did. But I will say that I also want to say like how much of a joy it was to have all of you on like some of our programming. It was amazing being able to be over here on like this end and watch the whole thing just sort of play out. And like it was I will say that all of you had a hand in this particular thing, which is the fact that I got to sit back and like at no point was I concerned that something was gonna like it wasn't gonna go right or anything like that. I was just like, all right, they've got it, they've got this going. So I'm so glad that you all came together. And like Caitlin said, I remember we were having this before the stream, and we had this like several hour phone call where we were just like, okay, now this is the top picks, but we should figure out just in case we never got that far because we couldn't think beyond like this group of people, because it was just like from inception, it was just perfect. It was just the perfect combination of people.
When I don't know if this is putting you on blast, but right away Drac wasn't able to be on the show, and I was like, who will fill this void? And I don't even know what to do. Like, I just was like so sad that we couldn't have Drac, that it was for like 48 hours. And I was like, I need to start thinking of another cast member. And then I couldn't. And then Drac got back to me. He's like, hey, so actually I moved some stuff around so I could be on this. And I was like, you made me so happy.
The moment you invited me, and then I was like, I don't know if I can go. I don't know if I can make it. I immediately messaged the GM of the game I was in, like, hey. And the thing is, if I was like, I've got a game, can we move it? They would have probably been a little bit upset. But I was like, you know, time zones. I misscheduled, so can we like move it?
Oh my god!
And I'm like, I'm from the UK. I'm working with like 3 different time zones. You understand, right?
Yeah.
Like, I just accidentally double booked myself. Could we move this game for weeks?
My god!
Wow.
Truly my hero. I'm so happy to have you. Yeah, but literally, like Luke said, just from the inception, I was like, this has to be the crew. Like,
yeah.
So I'm honored that all of you got to come and hang out with us on the floor. Gonna miss you all very much.
We're coming back, you know, that the way
Yeah.
you ended off that
We have
series,
to-
there's no way we're not coming back for that. We need
Like,
to figure
I'm
out
just
what's
gonna
happening to Andy,
slip.
you know?
Like, this is me just slipping a cool $10, like, as Lucas and John being like, so we're coming back.
Yeah, no.
You have to let us come back. Like, here's $10.
No, I honestly, it
It's
would
like
be
that's like that 80s like cha-ching
Yeah.
right there. It's like $10.
it would be
Yes.
it would be I would love to
This
have all of you
change your
back for
mind?
any reason at all. So but
Sit on it, perhaps.
yeah.
just sit on that. It came from the Loop Infinite Horizon crossover. Just think about it.
I mean, listen, I will Infinite Horizon starting up again next week. I will not comment on any of what may or may not have been happening behind the scenes in my head. I won't comment on it, but I will comment on the fact that I'm not commenting on it. So just
Yeah, as,
know.
Okay,
as
yeah.
it should be. Yeah.
I feel like we should take this one step further in that any show that has Caitlin's art as their official art is part of one big universe.
yeah, it's the Caitlyn verse.
Hey, I'm in a
Caitlyn's
D&D
art.
campaign sign tomorrow with Caitlin's art. Oh, is that the same?
Yeah, you're in it twice now.
Yeah.
Oh
Yep.
my god. 3 times.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah, 3
know.
times.
But you were
3
in
times.
Tail,
Infinite
I get-
Horizon, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god.
All right, everybody. I think
Yeah, it's been
we're
we're way over.
We've gone almost the full time that it came from the Loop would have run.
They always do. All of our wrap ups almost always go like just shy of the normal time.
Yes, into the Caitlin verse. I love it.
Into the Caitlyn.
Oh man, we have to
Perfect.
collect all of this art and put it in one and be like, okay, so how are they connected?
Oh.
How are we gonna?
The Infinity Commissions.
Yeah.
That just means that Clear Skies is also connected. So, and
Let's
Blood
do
of
it,
the
guys.
Void
That
and,
has-
Marvel
and Court
suck
of
it.
Corvids, like basically all of the Q times.
all the Q times first, yeah. That's been announced.
Infinity
I think
Wars,
that was
Infinity
Infinity
fire.
Wars thought they were the
In-house
most ambitious
artist.
crossover. Nope. It's into the Caitlin verse.
Yeah.
People for a while were doing the like, oh, if you have a Caitlyn icon, like, welcome to the club. This
Yeah.
is even more like, this is like 100 steps further. Oh, that's funny.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna end it there. I want to thank again Remy, Alex, Drac, Aki. Thank you so much for coming. Not just on It Came from the Loop, but also coming back for the wrap up. This has been extremely enjoyable. Just getting to hear you all kind of wax poetic about your characters and the backstory and the lore and everything. It's been amazing. I will say just some quick end of stream reminders and stuff like that. Infinite Horizon comes back a week from tonight. If you aren't caught up or want a refresher, we do have a recap that we did that gets you caught up through all the broad strokes of season 1, so that you'll at least have some idea of what's happening in season 2 if you have no idea. And yeah, I'm extremely excited about that, which is another important part of the announcement. I just need that to be very clear. And as for programming this week, again, just quick reminders, Ramblemancy will be on Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. We'll be talking about scary stories, ghost stories, all of our favorites of those. It's going to be a good time. And Saturday, speaking of ambitious crossovers, we're going to be having a multi-stream event playing the Blackout Club. John, myself, Brita Donnan, and Jess at GoJG, who was actually here earlier. I'm not sure if she's still around.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if she's still here, but we're going to be playing some Blackout Club, which, if you are a fan of the Kids on Bikes genre, this very much is that. Like, they even, like, I was playing, like I said, playing the tutorial, they straight up have a clubhouse. Like, they have a clubhouse. It's,
as you should.
yeah, it's
What? Yes.
it's an old abandoned rail car. Like, it's perfect. It's amazing. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That is the
It
perfect
is-
Boxcar kids now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Listen, I'm still waiting for someone to do a Boxcar Children TV series or something.
right.
Like, I want it in my
So
life.
down.
There's a
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not good.
I grew up on those books.
It's an animated movie. It's like an animated movie by a nobody company. It's very weird. I think it's on Netflix.
Oof.
I grew up with those books too. John and I love them, and I want a TV series.
But yeah, so that's what you have to look forward to in the immediate future of Rule of Lore. Yeah, we have our usual stuff, like you can check out the VODs of all of this stuff here on Twitch, or we have the entirety of it came from the Loop is now on YouTube. This very recording will also be going up on YouTube. Same schedule on Friday. This will go up there. And we, of course, have a Patreon where you can just, if you want to support the stream, it's a really, really excellent way to do it. Like, it has been extremely helpful to us in actually, even in making It Came From the Loop happen. So, like, that was instrumental in that. So, yeah, so, but if you want to go and check that out, there's a lot of great, all of our, I think, tabletop tool chests this month are spooky themed. The most recent one
They're
having
so
gone up
good.
recently. It was spooky, scary,
It was a spooky,
skeleprompts is
scary-
what you said.
Yeah, spooky, scary skeleton.
All skeleton themed, like everything. Like, there are skeleton NPCs, skeleton related hooks. There are skeleton / bone items. Is a bunch of stuff in there. So
if you want to run a Halloween game, but you're not sure what you want to run, there's some very fun adventure prompts.
also
in this
useful
week's
as writing
tabletop.
prompts. I will say that as well. So, like,
I think the way Patreon works, like, once you back, you get all of the back content too,
Yep.
right? So, like, yeah, you jump in and back that, you get like multiple
so much
like,
stuff.
years, so much stuff.
There's
if you
so
wanna
much
get
in there.
Like, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, if you want to do that. I think most importantly, we talk about it all the time, the Discord. It is the place, it is our hub of all of these things where we have all of our announcements, all of our, like, programming, just discussions, sharing pet pics. It's a thing that happens.
Raving about AOC playing Among Us.
That too, yeah, we definitely were. There was a huge discussion about that last night.
If you want to keep talking about this show after it's no longer on the air, there's a channel just for that.
There is. So yeah, those are all of those things. I think we'll just go around and we'll just say everybody where you can be found. We'll start. Aki, we'll start with you.
Hi everybody, I'm Aki, and you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at MixGenie in a Bottle. That's MXGINIINABOTTLE. And my entire Twitch schedule can be found on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ShidariAki. That's SHIDAREAKI. And you can catch me on Friday for Roll20Con at 12:30 p.m. PDT playing Pathfinder. I'm really, really excited because I haven't played Pathfinder in a while. And then, of course, I have my regular schedule too. Werewolves on Saturday, Clear Skies, and Rime of the Frost Maiden on Mondays, and nothing on Wednesdays anymore. But it's okay. I'll spend my time on Wednesdays now writing for Altered Carbon.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I need to. I can't wait for that to come out.
I think we'll just go in order. Drac, go for it.
I have a list of everything I'm in because I have done this enough times to know that I don't remember. So hi, I'm Drac or Draconics, but Drac is just easy to say and easy to spell. You can find me on Twitter at DRAKONIQUES, and I would most definitely be tweeting memes retweeting memes and possibly retweeting the things I'm in. But some of the things I'm in are tomorrow. I think I mentioned it briefly. I'm going to be in a D&D campaign called Heroes of Eostera that Caitlin actually did character art for all of our characters.
That released today.
It was awesome. And I'm going to be playing a Wolfforger monk. Absolutely a JoJo reference. He's got a stand. He's an astral monk, so he's got a stand. You know, I had to do it. I have on my list. It came from the loop. I'm not in it anymore.
You'll just think really hard about it now all the time.
It's manifest.
I'm also going to be in a Burn Bright campaign, which is starting, I think, in 2 weeks' time on Saturday. I can't remember the date that is, but 2 Saturdays from now, I'm going to be in a Burn Bright campaign over on Chromatic Chimera. And that's going to be from, oh no, I have to convert time zones. Just follow me on Twitter and I'll mention it. I'm also going to be starting next week. I'm going to be in an iHunt campaign over an Encounter RPG, where I'm going to play, I think it's called Hustle and Claw, which apparently is a Hustle and Flow reference. Haven't watched Hustle and Flow, so I don't know. But I'm going to be playing a very my high aspect, or my description of my character is a passive aggressive giant. So you can catch me being a little bit, very, very much the opposite of TJ, I guess, there. And I'm also going to be in a Sourcefall miniseries, GM by Bredo, which is going to be starting next week, Tuesday. Yes, next week, Tuesday. I think 8 p.m. EDT on Little Red Dot, and it's a lot of fun. I'm very excited for this. I wanted to play Sourcefall for a very long time, so the moment I had the chance, I jumped at it. So yeah, that's gonna be great. Probably have other stuff going on that I forgot to list as well, because I'm never gonna trust my memory completely. But to find that out, just follow me on Twitter.
All right, Remy, go for it.
Hi, that's me, Remy. I don't do I don't do as much anything as the previous 2 people, but you can see me doing stuff over on my Twitter at Remy Post. I try to stream on my personal Twitch channel Thursdays at 8 p.m. Central Time. I don't know if it's CT or CST right now, but anyway. But follow me on Twitter. I make stuff, and you can all see it there.
We showed off the baby Yoda that you made for like 20 minutes last night on my stream. I went to go to Burns' room to bring back the baby Yoda so I could make everyone bear witness to him.
It's a very good baby Yoda.
So good.
Yeah, thanks. Alex, go for it.
I am Alex. You can follow me at Alex P. Perkins on Twitter, Instagram, and also Tumblr. I sometimes update there as well. As far as announcements go, I don't have too much going on. My pre-orders for sweaters are down, but I also have pre-orders up now for Pan Pride patches, and I also have a few others available in case you want to check that out on my Twitter accounts or at my Etsy. Other than that, that is all.
All right, and of course, Caitlin.
Hi, I've been Caitlin. I am trying to stream again. I don't know. Follow me on Twitch, KAMABR, and then on Twitter, that with 2 Ks, KKAMABR, to find all of that stuff. Next week on this channel, in this very time slot, I get to be once again my favorite forums, Alien Binoba. We have some things to do. We have some problems to resolve, and I am so excited to go back to space. So check that out. And then on Sundays now at 5 p.m. Pacific time on Sundays. I get it wrong every time. If it's not at 6 p.m. Pacific, I don't know what time anything is. Like, I have no idea. Yeah. 5 p.m. Pacific on Sundays. You can catch me on Q Times as Benny Beckett in our superhero show Power Play, which her superpowers were just revealed, so you should go check that out. And there's some art stuff that's gonna get revealed again some more soon in the future, so follow me on Twitter. Check that out. I'm really excited about it, and I guess there's some stuff that's in the works that I don't even know what it's gonna be, so check it out. Follow us on at Powerplay RPG, and then you can get all the info. So that's pretty much what I got. I'm speaking into existence that Stone Houses will be back soon. I know I'm in charge of that, but I'm speaking my truth. Follow us on Twitter at Stone Houses Cast. I haven't talked about it in 100 years, our folklore podcast. I miss it dearly. It'll be back someday. That's me. That's what's up in my life.
Cool. John, I will get to you in a second, but I also, I remembered a thing that happened literally today which is that we haven't talked about it enough recently, but we do have a merch store, and I will say today,
Right.
So we have like some Rule of Lore t-shirts, and there's a hoodie in there, the mug, of course, the classic. But just today, there's also the Infinite Horizon tee. But today, we also added Infinite Horizon stickers. So those are in the merch store, and you should check them out because they're really, really cool, and I'm excited about them. And
they're pretty neat.
Like,
I think it's a 3x3.
Yeah, it's 3x3. Yeah, and like to the point, I'm excited about it. And here's just a quick little anecdote about that, which is that I'm so excited that I did it as just sort of a mock-up to see what it would look like, and I got excited and I just posted it right away. I was just like, oh, it's happening right now. Here we go. Yeah. So that's a thing that you can now find in the merch store.
Yeah, that's what the sticker looks like.
Yeah, that's the shirt and also what the sticker looks like. John, I know you have some stuff happening.
Oh, right. I do things. Hi, I'm John. I'm here most of the time, but sometimes a tabletop streamer by night and writer and editor by day. Currently working on Articles of Arcana by Matthew Gravelin, who did Mall Kids, which is it's actually sitting up here on my bookshelf that Caitlin has done art for. So Matthew's a really cool indie creator, and Articles of Arcana is a really, really cool tarot themed like fantasy supplement for a game called Troika. So it's super cool. Highly recommend.
Should have mentioned that. I forgot to mention that. I'm an artist on that.
Alex is an artist on that.
The Kickstarter is up right now, and I completely forgot, even though I was just working on the next card that's going up for reveal today, because that's how head empty I am the second I come here. But yes, that's happening.
I mean, if we're going to start talking about a connection to Articles of Arcana, I mean, we're on Friends for All That's kind of organized in a little one shot.
Right.
So it depends who can get of Articles of Arcana on the channel.
What were we saying about like the connected universe again?
I was gonna say, like,
it's all coming
I've
together.
just realized that Mall Kids is definitely part of that too. Like,
Oh my god, you're right.
Caitlin slowly but surely taking over the TTRPG world, one art piece at a time.
Gonna get you. Turn around. Who's that? It's me. I'm in your room drawing on all of your tabletop RPG books. There's already art in there. I've drawn over it.
It's my art now.
It's my art now.
This is like the Old Spice commercial, but with Caitlin and art.
yeah.
Open that book. It's me.
Look at me. Look at your art. It's my art now.
I'm on a horse.
Yes. Amazing.
Afraid of them, but I'll brave it for this weird commercial.
Incredible.
Sorry.
As always, I'm Lucas Santana, and you can find me pretty much exclusively here, doing all of the things that I mentioned before, all of this stuff. So, with that, I think. Sorry, John, were you finished? I didn't mean to cut across you.
Oh no, I'm finished.
Okay.
I don't think I actually said where you can find me, but at Resonant Bard on Twitter, and that's where you can find me. So,
excellent. All right. Well, everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight, for asking such great questions. We will hopefully see you on Friday and Saturday for Ramblemancy and the Blackout Club multi-stream event, respectively. But if not, we will see you the next time you decide to come roll with us. Good night and good zone, everybody. Thank you.
Mwah.